I hate that. Everybody's doing the porn stash now. Yeah, but
I live Movember every day. I've been living Movember for like 1,000
never
years.
forget, motherfuckers. Never forget.
You think you care about prostate
All right,
cancer?
we're back on the air, you know. Okay, I'm terribly sorry, everyone.
Damn, they heard that. I ain't shaved in 4 years.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Prostates for life.
I figured it out. It's all good. Sorry. Sorry, everyone at home.
Oh, man.
Now I gotta just send a goddamn quick fucking
Text, tweet.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
audio
I'll retweet
issues.
Sorry, Riffopolis, thank you for being on top of
We're
it.
fixed.
We appreciate the quality control beat stepping up. Your bonus checks will be in the mail.
Boom.
Holiday.
But
Audio.
okay,
Candy canes.
do we go on to topics now, or
You know, it's called straight riffing, Dusty. It's not called straight
I have an
topics.
agenda of topics.
Okay,
starting
all right.
with Movember.
You got some things
Okay.
you want to talk about.
Then moving
If you
on.
fucking come on here to do your material, I will kick you in the dick so hard your head'll spin.
You obviously haven't seen one of my shows because I haven't had new material in like 6 months.
Okay, well then fine.
Okay.
Then you're free to do whatever you want
and
to do.
you're free to submit something for dialogue.
So my family thinks I'm gay.
Because of Movember?
That's a
that's
a famous
that's-
Dusty bit.
I was very surprised
start off with.
I was very surprised to see a Foster's commercial recently that referenced Movember. I thought that was kind
Coming
of.
thing.
But what I don't
Doesn't,
understand, the National
what's
Cancer
it?
Association
fan.
doesn't get
You're not a fan.
of Movember.
I mean, no.
So what's your position?
I guess,
what are
go
you
for
what
it.
are you coming in with
I
in
don't know.
November? What's your
Well, it's not National Prostate Month or Prostate Awareness Month. That's September.
yeah.
When do we? I didn't know
Why don't we do
had
it?
that.
Why don't we do it in September?
We should do. We should
well,
definitely
it's
do
ignorant.
something for prostate. I'm with
Yeah.
you.
I mean, so listen.
Because you can't like breast cancer, they get all the money because titties are awesome and everyone wants to say titties, but nobody's like, hey, my butthole, like it's not like a whole month where we're showing each other's
really
buttholes,
frustrating about
which is
This
unfortunate.
is why I really think Movember is a really frustrating thing, and it's the point that you just made that it's not even Prostate Awareness Month. And the thing that is a double slap in the face is that the NFL goes all in now on Breast Cancer Awareness Month with pink this, pink that, pink that, but they don't give a fuck about prostate cancer awareness. And then all you get during actual supposed prostate awareness time is a fucking commercial with Aaron Andrews and Eddie George and the motherfucker from The Bachelor standing on the hilltop talking about how their dads is healthy and their best friend is still alive. And it's like, that's good and shit, but like, where is that during the month?
Eddie George shows up. Get your pooper check, honkies. Can we check how many people died from prostate or how, like
it's a bigger deal.
prostate cancer is a bigger deal than breast cancer.
But the reasoning is that breast cancer has all the money. So like the research, what I'm saying is that the research into prostate cancer hasn't been as much, and so it's more of a death sentence if you get it.
It's also
I don't
not
think
as
as
openly
many people.
discussed. I mean,
Again, who wants to talk about buttholes?
and this is the thing that I think is very galling
You
about
haven't
it.
heard one of my podcasts at all. That's all we talk about.
Sorry.
The Butthole Hour with Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, that's a good one. I've heard a lot of good Yelp scores. But the thing that's really frustrating, I feel like, about Movember and prostate awareness is the sense that, okay, the NFL definitely, it goes all pink because like girls look at that like, oh, it's cute, like, oh, he's got pink gloves on. You bring in this heightened female interest. It's very shameless ploy.
Sure.
You know, it's very shameless. And I think the thing that's especially
I
frustrating
don't want
is that
titties going away either.
no, I mean, it's not.
Say the
Listen,
titties.
if you actually gave a fuck about saving people's lives and, increasing awareness, you would realize that your fan base for the NFL is a bunch of dudes who do not talk to their dads about real shit, especially things like prostate cancer.
Never
that's
hugged
for
him
damn
in the
sure.
past 6 years.
Okay? So if you actually gave a fuck about fixing lives,
get
you
on
wouldn't
my
have
line,
you would not have Eddie George and company on a fucking hilltop with Morning in America talking about Aaron Andrews' dad is still alive. You would actually have a dedicated awareness campaign.
Let's talk about your butthole, boys.
Right, you would actually
Right.
have
I'm with you.
commercials.
I'm with
You would find a color. You would find some way for players to pay tribute. You would have stories from NFL players, past, present. You would have college players talking about things that have happened.
Here's
in
what
their
you
family.
here's what you need to do.
You would
here's,
have something.
Here's what you need to do in the commercial. This is the way to get to open up the dialogue about it. You'd have to have like a scene where a guy's like vehemently homophobic. Doctor tried to put his finger in my butthole. That whole thing, right? Because that's the
Naturally.
prostate. Right.
Naturally.
So you need to have like some kind of
Dusty's the NFL executive, and you are the marketing
yeah.
team
I'm marketing
for the
guy,
pitch.
right? So it's like
I'm an
that's
athlete
why
suffering
we
in
don't want to
silence.
talk about it because fingers go in buttholes. We're uncomfortable about buttholes. There's a lot of homophobia, especially in the NFL world. Maybe not as much these days, which is good. We're making strides, but. So you need to have some kind of thing where manly men are talking, and one of them's like, "Yeah, I had the doctor, did the finger up my butthole, and whatever found a thing or whatever. I got it checked out. I'm all good. had it removed. And then be another guy who's like just vehemently homophobic. No doctor, finger in the butt. I'm not going to do that. And you just show him dead. And then all the guys are like, man, he's so homophobic that he died. And then we could have an open discussion about prostate checks, prostate cancer, and homophobia all at once. And somehow tie it into Movember, so we're all growing the facial hair that Teddy and I are unable to grow.
Move the month at least.
You've got to sacrifice it, you understand? And this is partially why I hate these motherfuckers. Oh, you don't want to grow mustaches in September when the actual awareness month is, so y'all just gonna do your own thing because it's more clever? Then
Besides,
move the month.
November
Move the
already
month.
has
Move
not
the
only
month.
Thanksgiving, but NaNoWriMo.
Boom. That's what I was going to say.
Or
National
hey,
Novel
maybe-
Writing Month.
Maybe.
NaNoWriMo.
I thought that was a transformer.
No. It's
Here's
a
the bigger
it's a
point,
thing.
I
It's
think.
about wherever it's the idea is that you're supposed to be motivated
You're
in
talking about
the 1st of
gibberish.
November.
This is gibberish.
No, this
You've
is
been watching
look it up.
Oprah.
Look up the NaNoWriMo. The idea is
NaNoWriMo.
1st of November comes around, and
I saw
whatever
them at the
book
Troubadour.
you're thinking to
Real good
yourself all year long, I should really get around to writing that book, whatever. NaNoWriMo. And then you get motivated and you say, I'm finishing a book by the end of NaNoWriMo. And then you write your fucking novel.
Okay, that's
Those,
the thing.
those
That's
Muslims
better
have all
than
the holidays.
growing out facial hair for no reason.
But here's the thing that I think is really
NaNoWriMo.
frustrating about the whole Movember
What?
thing, and the fact that it's not even in the actual month of prostate cancer awareness. It's the sense of
I didn't even know there was a month for prostate awareness.
no,
That's
November-
how
November-
unaware I am.
Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month is November.
So here's the thing. Maybe as a fucking society and a culture, America, we can actually
America.
grow the fuck up and actually talk about cancer as a real thing and not reduce it to some silly ass cliche fucking mustache growing competition. Maybe we could actually sit
I would
down
be
like
fine
adults.
if you just mix the two, but they haven't even done that.
And I
But
guess
yeah,
that's my
yeah,
point, though.
absolutely.
Not only did they have no strategy in terms of really coming up with this, it's really just a bunch of willy-nilly bullshit. Do you know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's great that you're raising money, but in terms of actually building a dedicated awareness strategy to combat prostate cancer as a thing that plagues society, you're doing a shitty job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a real analytical breakdown.
Also, we need to make
You're doing what children
we need
would
to,
do.
as men, make our buttholes look more attractive, so that women will feel like
We need an anal bleaching.
yeah. We need to so that
Bleach it,
their
Hoggies.
heart goes out and they go, oh my god, we need to save those precious, cute buttholes.
I believe the buttholes are the future.
There you go.
Let
Teach 'em
them
well.
be pink.
Oh, okay.
Shine on to the world.
Yeah.
Clenching tight.
Show them all the beauty that they
Shining
possess
bright.
inside.
That boy good.
Give them a chance to make it last in the ass.
Sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate. Give me,
You really like the sexual chocolate thing.
I read that.
Give me a chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, your
That
prostate
boy good.
cancer
That boy
awareness
good.
spokesman,
Yeah,
Randy
yeah.
Watson.
Randall Watson.
That
boy good.
So I mean,
I like
I
him.
get
He's
it.
good guy.
I think it's really
That boy
frustrating.
good.
I mean, like, and when I see the Movember things, you know, like it's kind of like you
It's a
look.
step.
It's the thing where it's frustrating because you can't. People are gonna think that you're gonna be very, blunt and non-constructive when you're criticizing their activism.
Well,
It's
cunt
kind of like-
cancer also gets a bad rap too.
What does?
I mean, we don't hear about cunt cancer much.
We don't.
No.
We don't have enough discussion about cunt
Yeah,
cancer.
we probably shouldn't call it that
Lousy
if we wanna have a
GMOs.
discussion about
I
it.
like it. Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, I don't really know about
Pussy
that.
cancer. Prefer that.
I mean,
All right.
I'm
You
just
ta-
saying for the medical community, if
All
you
right,
want to bring
all right.
them on board,
But
you've
it's
got to
baby,
start.
it's baby
I would make a
steps.
commercial where a chick looks down. She goes, "Oh my god, my cunt's fucked." And then she goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, you got cunt cancer." She's like, "It's a good thing I went to my doctor. You should go to your doctor, get your cunt checked." Boom.
Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, there you go. See,
They sponsor answer.
I got this shit.
Cunt
fucking-
cancer.
Those damn Swedes. Socialists have taken over. Now Budweiser commercial running with the. I'm sorry, you were gonna say
It's
about.
baby steps. It's baby steps. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean it's what you're saying with like it's the same kind of thing that we had to go through with Coney when like a lot of people in the activism community had to say, listen, it's well and good that you're trying to help out. Appreciate it.
big
Nice of you to finally fucking pay attention to this
However-
part of the world.
If you want to have a serious conversation, what you should know is the things that you're doing are superficially helpful at best and actively detrimental at worst. So if you could kindly go away for a long time, come back, matured, with a real cogent plan of how to get something done, then we'll talk again.
I have said this before. I will say it again. I said it in the height of the Coney thing. You know something is blown out of proportion and likely made almost entirely of bullshit based on how many white people are posted about it on Facebook. It's like you could graph it.
It's very good.
Number of Facebook posts from white people per minute is directly correlated to how much bullshit is involved in the actual story.
That is true.
So that's just something I've found.
Though the best part of that whole story was the guy just mad jacking it in San Diego.
San Diego.
That is probably
jacking it, smacking it.
Yeah.
Dude, and that guy had a bleached butthole.
So,
if you saw that video, he cared about
You
his
know what?
pooper.
I'll put this into the.
Saw a different feed.
I'll end up putting this into this week's links to check out. But here is
Didn't
a
he get
quick
interviewed by Oprah. And he
Here's a
came back
quick
and he was
graph
like-
comparing breast cancer and prostate cancer, new cancer cases. Purple is prostate. You can see
Look
it.
at that, son.
Much
Well,
ridiculous, especially 2007. We're getting better.
2000, look
But
at
2007 is
No, well,
out
we're
of
not
control.
getting better. Apparently, we just came roaring back in 2010. What are you talking about? It's getting better.
Well, I'm just saying, closing the gap.
Yeah.
In 2009, apparently, we paid attention to prostates a little bit more, but
Right.
2009, we
this
took a
is
break.
new. Yeah, new.
they were like, I think we got it. In 2010, they all came back and they're like,
right.
fuck.
But
but 07.
I mean, I think the
not looking
disproportion. I
good.
think this is how you know the NFL as a corporate entity really is just insulting the intelligence of its fan base and not doing them any kind of active service.
Oh, you know what?
They're
I
basically using them as
I'm not
rubes,
gonna end up
essentially.
linking that particular site. That's
right.
one of those men's rights sites. I can't do that.
Yeah.
can't
I mean,
give
they're
them traffic.
basically using people like Dusty as
Do your own
rubes,
research.
essentially. And
What's that?
the NFL and Roger Goodell is using Dusty as a rube.
Really?
In the sense of like,
Well, that
well,
must
we'll
be a
just-
good racket,
Yeah, we'll
no?
never ever treat prostate cancer seriously. You know, the thing that has a chance of like killing you. But,
Why
like,
him?
We'll make it easier for your.
Are you
I'm
older
a
than all
Bears
of us?
fan.
We'll make it easier for your
is that a
girlfriend to
sports fan?
spend money on like a cute pink jersey. When
What
we
if,
run...
what if you're agnostic on
Romo
sports?
jersey, by the way. She's
How,
a Bears.
how susceptible am I to prostate
What?
cancer?
What?
He says that he's susceptible to prostate cancer because he's a Bears fan. If I'm agnostic on sports, where do I fall on the contingent of...
Yeah, you
Bengal.
probably already dead right now.
Oh, shit. Your butthole is like black.
Yeah.
Your butthole just grew another butthole and then gave it cancer.
You are kind of like one of them people from Pirates of the Caribbean, minus the squid things on your face.
You're more like that hammerhead shark guy.
Do you remember that show Street Sharks? Okay, well,
don't,
you're
I don't.
kind of like.
Well, how about biker mice from Mars? You're just a large
yeah.
rodent that drives a motorcycle, okay?
Oh my God, I forgot about that show. Biker Mice from Mars.
What about Danger
Putting
Mouse?
that deserves to go on the board.
I am
being remembered.
I am
Biker
waiting
Mice.
for
By the
that.
way, I think that of all cartoons, there's never been a higher disconnect between how much I liked the theme song to how much I didn't like the cartoon than Danger Mouse.
Really?
I mean, great fucking song, but the cartoon
Was it
left.
Danger- was-
Yeah, play the Danger Mouse because right now Teenage Mutant
Danger Mouse, a powerhouse.
Is it allowed, Zach?
that just sounds like a Bond theme.
You know
How
what I'm
you're
talking
doing it. It sounds
Well,
like the Bond
let's
theme.
be fair. It does.
kinda sounds
They're
like,
going with the Danger Mouse.
I think Adele saying Danger Mouse.
It kind of sounds like Dean Martin singing Silky Bells. Perfectly honest.
Danger Mouse.
Why don't you tell me
out there,
Polly?
You know, this time of year.
There you go. You ready?
Yeah.
I got your Danger Mouse for you.
He's the greatest.
It sounds like a Mexican standoff.
No.
Wherever there is danger, he'll be there. Danger Mouse, amazing Danger Mouse. It's gonna be
I wish you could see Mitch's silly dancing right now. It's,
They kind of can.
Come on, it's a
we
good,
don't have
it's a
your
good
face
jam.
cam
It's a
up
good
on the
jam.
feed there, by the way.
Oh, my bad.
Let the people see your mug.
Come
Mitch.
on, $100 go.
That was not what I was expecting at all.
No. I was expecting.
Very like Green Hornet meets like Soviet.
Ooh, good call.
Spy. Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, I
you
like
like that
the
Green Hornet.
The
yeah.
Green Hornet was a good call.
Riffopolis. Yeah, Green Hornet references. Take it to the streets.
I think the one that was really, I love the everybody can do it. The cartoon, go back and watch it. Terrible. Ninja Turtles.
Now, what are you about to say?
Ninja
You're gonna talk
Turtles.
shit on
That's
the
what
Ninja
happens. You
cartoon?
told me to fucking
I'm a
change the
huge-
thing, and now I lost the feed. So.
What?
Just the video. It's okay. This is what it's fucking funky.
Can we get the
guys.
feedback? We're just gonna be talking about Ninja Turtles.
Just the video. It's just the video. They can still hear us.
Oh man,
Oh,
but people want to see the face.
People want to see my Primus shirt.
What do you want?
All right, okay, then let them see the back of your head, baby.
Yeah.
I was just trying to show some love.
I can't even
Just get a little smoochy
Let 'em see-
smoochy up
let
on
'em
you.
see that. Let them see that nice shiny scalp.
Come on now.
Listen,
Ninja Turtles.
What are you talking about? You
No,
gonna talk
that
shit
was
on
an
that cartoon?
awesome.
All right, they can just stare at my face
Theme
or they
song.
can stare at nothing. It's one of the two.
Wait, well, what about me?
What's going on?
When I switch to the other one, nothing shows.
I've canceled 6 times. Don't make
okay,
it a 7.
it's either nothing or
Dusty,
it's me.
Is
Your
Dusty,
call.
are you a walking EMP? Did you
don't-
just show up in here and just?
All right.
Are you a fucking
All right, here.
sentinel?
I'm a fucking
Wait.
motherfuckers.
Hey,
with all
what's
your
going
whining.
on?
I
Okay,
can't see.
give me
Am
some
I
duct
good?
tape.
Did I got it? Did I have it? Do I have an
box
angle?
of Krispy Kreme.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
There.
Yo.
There we
Now
go.
I'm not on
Attention,
camera again.
America.
There, you happy?
Look at me.
This is the Terry Tutson Hour. Glenn Beck, go fuck yourself.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
All right. This is going to make
I'm
for a
coming to
terrible,
Modesto.
terrible audio podcast.
What?
It's going to be a lot of visual jokes.
No, it's not.
You can be driving in your car going, gosh, I wish I knew what was supposed to be funny right now. All right.
interrupted them.
Anyway, Danger Mouse.
First of all,
great,
no.
great intro.
The point is, Dusty is incredibly wrong about the Ninja Turtles cartoon. It was,
What
in
about
fact,
the
a
Ninja Turtles?
high quality.
Oh, that was a good. Hell yes. Mhm. I get down.
You can take that booty chatter and walk on out the studio.
I will say,
sir.
out of and maybe this is nostalgia looking back or whatever, but I feel like in all of the iterations they made in the 80s of the Ninja Turtles, they all were successful. The video games, both the arcade and home versions, were different games.
Say
and they
something.
were both
Oh, no, hold on.
phenomenal.
Say something.
Let me get into this. So those 2 video games, totally
Stand
different
down.
games, and I loved them. The comics were wildly popular. The cartoons were wildly popular.
All the toys
and the
were baller.
first 2 movies I went and saw in
That
theater.
hurt.
I don't know about the third movie. I didn't see the third one, but the
Oh, Ninja
first
Turtles
2
in
with
Time
the
never
ninja
happened.
rap and all
Never
that,
happened.
as cheesy as it was, I wasn't like, oh man, they have really jumped the goddamn turtle on this one.
Owned it on VHS.
Yeah, see?
Laser disc up in this bitch.
Do you think that's the? Do you
Okay.
think there's anything that kids? I mean, I guess the Batman franchise, but I don't know if that's really fair to.
I want to rebuttal on that real quick. Number one.
First off, you're wrong.
They had 2 good video games. 2.
What?
Turtles in Time and the arcade game.
Okay.
Do you remember the first one on NES?
Yes!
Wait, that's
Wait,
are you gonna
what?
say that's not a good game?
No!
What?
That game was terrible!
What? Oh my god!
No, Teddy, that game was terrible.
You don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. You are insane.
No,
are
number
a
one,
crazy
you
person.
never got past the dam. That dam was the dam.
First of all,
I'd like to apologize to
sucked.
my neighbors and anyone within a 5-block radius.
I gotta take a walk now. You tell me it's better.
First of all,
No,
while he's gone,
first and
let me say
foremost,
something.
yeah,
He
he's absolutely
clearly-
wrong.
he
That
clearly-
NES Turtles? Up
he
here. What's up?
clearly-
NES
he
Turtles.
Clearly was not skilled at the game.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's clearly what's going on
Maybe
here.
as a child, you had a trouble with difficult activities. Perhaps you
Yeah.
were sheltered, and you always wanted.
Next, you're going to tell me Mario was a bunch of horse shit,
Number
and I
one,
will kick you out of
Next,
this
you're gonna
place.
tell me Double Dragons wasn't the shit.
That game was
Double
so
motherfucking
hard.
dragon. Hell
Okay,
yes,
right.
sir.
Hold on.
You a damn
1,
terrorist.
2, and 3,
You on the
motherfucker.
no-fly list, aren't you?
Two was the best because they kept hitting women. Okay.
Final Fight.
The first.
Go ahead, Chris Brown, make your point.
Yeah, Final Fight was where they like just straight up knocking bitches out.
Streets of Rage
Yeah,
too.
right. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The Final Fight was when it was like really big on
Yeah.
the screen.
Okay.
Like you had to
That's
watch
what I
the girls
learned, though. I
like
was
cringe,
I
and
got
she's
okay
like,
with it. Yeah, right. That was
like little crackheads.
She came at me with a knife. What was I supposed to do?
I'm going back to the Turtles.
You
game.
got that Hager.
The one where it's overhead.
Yes.
And then you had it. That game was so hard. I even put in Game
So
Genie.
hard, see?
And Game
Hard,
Genie told
hard,
me
not bad, hard.
Game
What's that?
Genie-
Riffopolis. This motherfucker don't know nothing.
fuck.
Game Genie
This
was like, "Go
motherfucker.
fuck yourself. This game's hard."
Oh, you were one of those Game Genie motherfuckers.
I was
Mom,
8.
I can't play the game. Could you buy me a cheater?
I got it for.
Oh,
I was 8.
Ooh. Oh.
That is such a crock of horse shit that you guys beat the game. I do not
Just
believe
not beat
that.
the game. Just
Hurts.
fucking enjoy the shit. Enjoy the shit.
No, you had to beat the. Go fuck yourself. You
Ain't
haven't
nobody
beaten
say
it.
nothing about completing nothing. It was a fun
motherfucker.
That game was hard as shit.
Recreation, motherfucker. Do
Okay.
you speak it?
The hardest game. What is the?
You speak it.
I challenge you for the hardest game.
You don't know nothing
known
about
to man.
video games.
What is the hardest game known to man?
Well, apparently for you, it was
Say hardest game again, motherfucker. I dare you. I double
Say it one more
dog.
time.
Hardest game ever. Tough. Battletoads is a pretty high contender.
Ooh.
Battletoads was real goddamn on any platform too, and they always kept changing it just enough to where it was like, fuck, I had to learn it all over again. Any of the Mega Mans were pretty tough.
Oh,
If you just played, no, because if you just played like one level, you were like, oh yeah, I can do
Yo,
this. But if you
Mega
actually
Man
had to
always
play them
made me
all over,
like for Mega Man, I guess may have been my Ninja Turtles for you because everyone I knew fucking was so into Mega Man, and then whenever I would like get a chance to play, because I never really had Nintendo, I'd be like, all right, let me see
Yeah.
what this is about, and then like I would just get a little bit in and be like, yo, this shit is whack, son.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the thing about it was what pissed me off about Mega Man is that, like,
Plays
yeah, you
Tetris.
play the first, whatever, the Top Man or whatever, right?
Yeah.
At the end,
Yo.
they'd give you a special ability that you could use for another level.
Right.
But when you turn the game off, you didn't have that special ability anymore.
Yeah, son.
So it's like, what the fuck is
Maybe
the...
Mega Man was too ahead
Like,
of his
and you
time.
needed that special ability to beat another guy, and it
Right.
was like, well, now you just... Why am I allowed to choose any level then? Fucking make me... You
my
know,
hardest
I will
game-
tell you this, the hardest end level of all time, for me, personally, and I even, like, again, we've talked about this on the show before, still can't beat it. Tried many, many times. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
that is very true. I can
Beating
get
Mike
there.
Tyson is fucking nigh
Who was it
impossible.
that said they beat Mike Tyson Punch Out all the time?
Tanya
Estrada.
Estrada.
You lying.
Who called it? Remember
You
she
lied.
called it the Super Nintendo 64?
Yeah.
She's like, I had a Super Nintendo 64. I was like,
Was
no,
it-
you didn't.
Was
You
it
still ain't
Super
beating
Punch
no
Out
Mike
or
Tyson
just?
Punch.
No, I'm
It-
talking
it
the
don't matter.
original Mike Tyson.
He
When
ain't
you had
beat
to
no-
fight Mike
he ain't
Tyson,
beat
he
no
does that
Punch-Out.
thing where he's
You know
like
where he-
shaking like a
he
crackhead, and then he
lives.
winks at you real quick, and then whah! One shot and you're knocked out.
Okay, yeah.
It's just
but
no
Super
good.
Punch Out was not as tough as regular Punch Out.
Yeah, I'm talking about Punch Out.
I
Yeah.
bring to you the table.
Punch
I
Out
bring
was
to the
awesome.
table ghouls and ghosts. I call
Or
horse
Contra
shit.
without the fucking cheat
Yeah.
code.
That's true.
Yeah.
I call
Contra.
horseshit if you beat ghouls and ghosts.
You know, I was that's a
level
fair,
2.
That's a fair point. You know what I was gonna say is every fucking vertical shooting airplane game released between 1980
I was
gonna say 1942 or 3, what it was? Yeah.
Yo, you could not get enough quarters in the world to beat one of those games. We would always go on a pizza field trip to Godfather's Pizza in the summer at sports camp,
you-
and I'd be
do you
like,
remember
"Yo,
that?
I'm saving all my quarters and I'm beating this thing," and I would just get so close, son.
This is where I felt really duped and stupid was when I saw Wayne's World in the part where Noah's arcade and he's talking about the arcade games. And by that time, I wasn't playing arcade games anymore. I
Right.
was like 13, 14 years old. So I was just playing them at home now. And he was like, yeah, we have this game that's impossible to beat. Kids keep pumping in quarters and blah, blah. And I was like... And like all arcade games I ever played in my life suddenly made sense to me. I was like, that's why RoboCop was such a fucking bitch. Remember that? Like
you're
you
playing
put a quarter
RoboCop.
in and that fucking bike came right away and just ran you over and was like, all right, another quarter. And you were like, I literally all I got to do was take a gun out.
Yo.
That's how the streets of Detroit are.
Oh,
You
okay.
get off the
Fair-
plane
fair
and
enough.
boom, you're getting bombarded with motorcycles.
Jerry can tell us all about that. I'm sure. Jerry, somewhere Jared is nodding while he's listening. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep, yeah, got that. Yeah, sure. It's a good thing I got that RoboCop suit off eBay.
There was another game that I also...
Your move, creep.
This was another one of those Neo Geo arcade games that I fucking loved. It was this
Oh, dude, you
old-
remember like when they had the home console and you were like, if I was a gazillionaire?
Jeez, to this day, son.
I know.
To this day.
I know.
The first
I
real
know.
money I get, I'm fucking... Hey, listen, I want all your black market Neo Geo arcade. I want them all.
I wonder what that's worth
It's
these
the
days.
it
But
was
go ahead,
the,
go
it
on
was
with
the
the
one
thing. I know what you're talking
it was
about.
the Wild West like side
Yeah.
shooter one. Then you could just fucking just wow out on everybody and
They
then you
have
would go
that.
in there.
You
No,
can get it on the Wii.
I don't want it on a Wii.
Oh.
Did you hear me?
You know what's surprising?
That ignorant shit out of my face. I
They
don't
have-
want that on the Wii.
on eBay,
Do I look like a bitch?
the buy it now price still in the box. Neo
word,
Geo
son.
X Gold Limited Edition.
Say word, son.
$300.
So can we put this? Can I see it with
That-
my eyes? Can
That's
I
like
believe
2
it?
Twinkies right there. This is a post-Hostess world.
You better hope
You
that
don't get to
mediation
jump to the
falls
Twinkies
through.
topic yet. We're getting to Twinkies later.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
We didn't have
bitch.
topics. They were straight
I know.
riffing.
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
got-
right.
He's got a boner right
Oof.
now. Such a guy boner.
You don't remember that as a kid, the Neo Geo? It was like $1,200 or some shit, some
My-
ridiculous. And Nintendo was like $100.
Neo
And it was
Geo was like- Neo
and it
Geo
was
was
an
like a person-
arcade.
a person
it
who had
was
so
and it
much
had the
money.
arcade fucking
Right.
sticks and
Metal
everything.
Slug.
Yeah, I never even met a dude who
Fucking
knew a
love
guy.
Metal Slug. There's a
You know
Metal
what I
Slug
mean?
arcade at work, and I'm just so giddy.
Dude, well, there's like Metal Slug.
You know what
Metal
you
Slug
could? What
7.
you could do is you
Steal
can,
it?
You can no.
You wanna
These
go-
days you can.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go steal it.
No, I got a cheaper option. I got a
Falcon,
cheaper
we're out.
option. It's less trouble. You don't have to go anywhere.
When you see
you
me
can
next,
get
I'll give
a
you
you can get
thumbs.
an emulator on your computer. You get an emulator, and it'll emulate the old arcade chip that
Any
ran.
of you motherfuckers hearing what I'm saying?
Hold on. Because what's weird is they all ran on the same chip from like fucking 1981 through like 1994. They all ran on one chip, the same chip, And you can emulate that, and I did it, and you can download the ROMs, like the actual games, basically. And it's crazy to play the games when quarters are not a thing anymore.
It's wild, right?
Because you realize, like, these were made in a weekend. Like, there's not only is there no plot, but just, like, the levels are extremely short.
Well, it's
they're
also-
just riddled with, like, assholes
It's just
trying
the
to kill
grift.
you.
When you remove the grift element.
Turns out Final Fight is only like 5 levels. You know what I mean? I never got past like the second one because I only
But you
carried
know what I really-
$5 in quarters with me.
I love about all those games, like just like arcade
Or, like,
games for a
Pit
while,
Fighter?
with like Final Fight or Fist of Fury or whatever, like anything like that, where it was just or Metal Slug, where the premise was just so fucking just what? All right, time to drop you somewhere and fight for a while. and you just and it's either just that. Or
That's
just
literally how
shoot 'em.
Contra
Right,
starts.
it's literally just like you just what's that? Time to go shoot some people. All right, go ahead.
But
Just
how-
scroll on over, motherfucker.
How spoiled are we that we're like, no, wait, what's my character's ambition? What's his backstory so
Right.
I can shoot these
Right, like,
people?
now they're like these
Halo.
multi-million-dollar productions with these fucking grand, like with Halo, the live-action trailer series, and there's books that only makes like, the new
Magnus.
game only makes sense if you've read the books, and fucking literally all these games for like 10 years, it was literally like, yeah, me and my friends hanging out. Oh shit, someone came in, stole my bitch. What's that? Gotta go fight. Let's go.
Bad Dudes. Remember Bad Dudes on Nintendo? Bad Dudes. That was the plot. It was like 2 bad dudes and somebody's girlfriend was at stake. Bad Dudes. And they were like,
God
You
damn.
remember Bad
You
Dudes?
know what we need to do? We need
You
to
remember Bad
recreate-
Dudes.
I
Please
do.
tell me you remember
We need
Bad
to
Dudes.
recreate every fucking like Nintendo's 80s video game pitch session ever. All right, listen. 2 dudes. They real bad. Girlfriend gets stolen.
Here you go.
They go fighting for
This
it.
is a-
What's the game called?
This
Two
is
bad
a
dudes.
single life speed run of Bad Dudes. No deaths.
Oh,
This
man.
is just straight on through. Bad
God
Dudes.
Damn, America, what is wrong with you?
Everything is
those
wonderful.
dudes are too
Bad Dudes.
Look how bad those dudes
Yeah.
are, bro. Look how bad
Yay, Bad Dudes.
Stalker. Wait, Striker?
Yeah, right.
You don't remember Bad Dudes? Come on. There
That's
we
all
go.
they do.
Look, it's all you do is go
Oh,
around and fucking
roundhouse
whoop
kicking,
up, bro.
bitches.
And then the streets are roving with ninjas for
Right?
no reason.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Oh shit, gotta go fight. Ninjas
They'll
everywhere.
come out of
son.
semi trucks and shit.
Trucks that are just parked.
Yeah.
And sliding doors that open.
I'm
for
gonna
them
need
to
another
get out.
truck full of ninjas on 3rd and Wilshire, please.
Number 1, does that all this player knows how to do is a damn
Well, it's a
roundhouse kick?
speed run with no deaths, so I think he's not really like, going for
Dude,
like,
he's
here's how you
rom-
play the
he's
game.
ramming it.
You know
I
what
call
else
horseshit on
You
that.
know what else is really
Good times.
amazing about the like if you really like gave these worlds a literal recreation treatment that like Walking Dead style with zombies, if you just had a fucking metropolitan area just overrun with hoodlums and goons just waiting to fight people, there's no way they would wait until that dude got to the area. They would just beat the shit out of each other, and then by the time he actually got there, he would be like, God damn, this is who I was supposed to kill? This was it? Thank God y'all killed yourself.
You know what I always thought was
And
hilarious?
the other thing is like whoever's sending out all the ninjas to kill the one guy, after like 400 of your guys like just apparently vanish into thin air, like they blink a few times and go away. Like, are you gonna be like, send in more ninjas? But
Yes.
sir, we've already done 400. I know.
You know,
400 more.
Mi-
In the next level, I want him to meet 3 guys who have a chain.
Mitch, you know what that is? That's called meth.
At no point they were like, can we get a gun or something? No.
Nope.
No, we're gonna have to stick with ninjas and
listen,
chains, all right?
You see all them fucking nunchucks and bow staffs I put over there? Grab some.
Be grateful.
You see that big shirtless motherfucker? He ain't got no weapons, and he's hard as hell to kill. I sent him out. Now why don't you go in front of him?
Oh, also we gotta
All
send out
3 of
that,
you guys that look alike.
we gotta
Go
send out
in front
the
of them.
20-foot dude with the all metal armor. Is that soft spot in his crotch that if he kicks it once he explodes? Is that fixed? No, but I'm sure he won't figure that out. I'm sure we're fine.
Listen, boss.
Can I get a
I
soda?
don't, boss. I mean, I just wanted to ask a question. Like, I don't want a question to plan too much.
excuse
You know what I mean? Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I know you got a real site blueprint and everything, but like, maybe you could consider sending them real strong motherfuckers in front instead of all the weak ass foot soldiers, so you know we can like go home and take a vacation. Maybe. I got a family.
yeah, it's like, I got a daughter. She has a clarinet practice tonight. I would really like to see that, boss.
Right? Like, this is what I'm saying. So, like,
In the thug world free market, you would send the strong guys first, right? The market would correct itself.
No,
but
no, you would send them all at the same time.
no, this is
Well,
what I'm
you
saying.
could
Well,
probably do that, but you don't need 400.
They're all out there at
Send
the
the
same
end
time,
guy
though.
first before the guy has
Like,
figured
okay,
out how to fight
you're
everybody
missing it,
else.
because the whole city has just fallen to corruption, right? So everyone is out there, bro. They just roaming the streets. They hanging out. They're like, oh shit, I'm in the fucking 18-wheeler. Where you at? I'm on top of it, getting kicked in the face. Oh shit, I gotta roll out, son. And then the other dude is over there at the
You know
pet
what's the
shop looking
problem?
at birds.
The problem is management. That
Oh, it's
bad
definitely
guy
a management
has
problem, yeah.
horrible management.
Mhm, yes,
He's
definitely.
sending them out,
That's,
and then
It's a
they
management problem. It's definitely a management
Shout out to
problem.
Hostess.
Yeah.
It's a definite management problem where he doesn't centralize his goons.
Ooh,
So-
that would make a great NES game.
That's what I'm
Is
playing
that
on the board.
you could have- you
got to
could-
centralize your goons. That's what's going on the board.
If this Twinkies thing went down in the 80s, there would be a video game where you had to like you had to
Annoying.
like beat up all the new union workers and save the Twinkies.
Boom! It's all
Yeah, like the Noid. That was a good game, surprisingly. Yo Noid was
that was a
surprisingly
hard
good.
game too.
What game?
All right, all right.
The Noid.
Apparently,
Dominoes.
Dusty not very good at video games when he was a
I
kid.
like Zombies Ate My Neighbors. You ever play
That was a
I
fun
remember that
one.
one, yeah.
Never beat it.
You know what was
Dusty's video game history. I would love to sit down with Dusty as like an old man with like every video game.
Never
It's like,
did beat that
Metroid, bought it, looked at it in the box. Seemed a little bit difficult.
Smelled the instruction book.
didn't care for that one.
Smelled nice.
Zelda, got a whiff of that manual. Took it back.
I went back and beat Zelda 2.
Did you really?
Final Fantasy? Yep, it was. It was the final. That was it.
Had a dream, put it away.
Nope, I'm good.
Mom made mac and cheese. Didn't get started.
Ooh, that's when I learned how to make lasagna. Yeah. Madden 13, that was tough.
But Nintendo's games were so freaking impossible. The early games were so hard. Name a
Were you a
Nintendo
Nintendo
game.
or a Sega person?
I was a Nintendo.
You, Mitch?
I was Nintendo, and then I got a Genesis because I didn't have like a Nintendo at home. I had my
Sega.
Commodore 64, so I had to
love
like
that
program all my own video games, which is fun. But then I sold the computer for a Sega Genesis.
Nice.
Sega.
Sega had some really good games.
And then
They did.
so then I got into Genesis for a little while, and then Street Fighter 2 was coming out, and I was like, ooh, I want a Super Nintendo. And then I got Super Nintendo.
I feel like I was always kind of on the outside
Yeah.
of the video game world because I had a Sega. That was my first one from the beginning. So I never got in with the Nintendo craze or whatever. And every now
you had
and then
like the Master System, or are you talking about Genesis?
Sega Genesis.
Okay.
But Sega had some of
What
the
kind of rich
better
shit you
games.
talking about?
You don't remember the Master System?
Master System.
Yeah,
Sega
yeah.
Master System was before. It was
It was
around
be-
the time of the NES.
Oh,
It was like Sega Genesis.
There was
Sega
12
Genesis.
games, and they all
yeah,
cost
yeah.
$100 each.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay,
Like Harrier.
What was the fucking platform that you could play Slaughterhouse on?
That was Genesis.
That was Genesis? I love
Genesis
that
had
game.
all the blood until like for quite a while.
with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, once Mortal Kombat 2 came out, Nintendo was like, all right, blood it all up. And then suddenly there was no more Genesis. That was the end of Sega. Like, all they had going for them was
Blood.
like, we got all the
Gore.
blood. They were like, yeah, the graphics suck and the games crash a
now,
lot,
see,
but
what
like,
we
listen,
gonna do is we
we
gonna
only got
release-
3 buttons, but
we gonna
listen,
release a
you want
game-
blood and titties? Come to
Remember that-
Sega.
The Sega Saturn game with the Dreamcast with the fucking dragons where you like roast
Panzer Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, Panzer Dragon, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Riffopolis, I will kill somebody for Panzer Dragon.
They
okay?
released it. They made a new one.
You ain't here.
You know what was surprisingly that I got surprisingly addicted to was my friend had it was the Sega CD.
I never had
For like
that.
a year, I was like, it was only
32
whatever, and
X
all the
or
games were the fucking. There were like 2 games basically. It was just the opportunity to like put video into a video game because they were on CD, and they had. It started with Sewer Shark, which was like the one that came with the.
Okay, there's some sharks in a sewer.
Oddly, no,
Sewer shark.
no, you
You
were the
dump them in the
shark.
sewer.
You were the shark in the sewer, but it was a mechanical thing. It was a mechanical shark.
Well, naturally, yeah.
Kind of silly.
Now, what's weird about
That's why it flopped. That's
Okay.
why no one's talking about the second
Here's
CGI.
what-
that's the dude
No,
who
here's the weird thing
fucking
about
signed
this.
off on it and got one home for his kids. Like, what the fuck is this?
I wish
now?
I wish there was like a documentary made.
people.
I would love a documentary made around the time that the Sega CD was like when Sega was really pushing for it to be a thing, because it was the first console that could use like actual image, like moving images, like video and audio, like actual spoken voice. And so all the games seemed to just be an exploitation of that technology. Sewer Shark had Bob Hoskins in it, from
It's me.
Yeah. And
That's how
also
it-
a million other
me.
look him up.
Don't
Felicia's
dare stop
Journey.
me, Smee. Don't stop
He
me,
was in-
Smee,
he was in
Smee.
Sewer
Stop
Shark.
Me. Get off your ass.
Then there was another one you may recall. They had a very popular television
Birthday
commercial for
gift.
it.
Thank you.
And it was the first. It was the first. Like it was a big controversy, and it was called Night something. Night.
Night Rapist?
Very similar. You were in a dorm room and you were trying to take out. I know.
Real tough dart to
You were
throw,
in a dorm
Dusty.
room and you were trying to
Real tough.
you were trying to pull trap.
Close, sir.
You were trying to pull these like trap doors to like trap these guys who were out to get the dorm room girls. And when they got scared and shit, when you successfully got one, girls would come out and like shake their titties in the air and be like, "Oh my god, you saved us!" Because it's a dorm room and they were just apparently in dorm rooms, chicks hang out in their bra. This is a real game. This is not. I'm not night trap. That was it.
Yeah, you're not too far off.
No, not. No, Sega CDI has a lot of lawsuits.
Do you not remember? Here, I'll show you.
Quite the blind pilot.
This is actual gameplay from the game.
This
And
is-
by the way, there was like 20 games just like this. There was another one with Corey Haim Corey Feldman
Corey.
that I really liked.
Oh,
that was
Corey
something in
Feldman.
Texas with these alien guys. I had a lot of fun playing that game.
James Riley, he does good work.
So this is, this was the video game. It's just a lot of video footage.
Was this when they were like cutting like live action scenes? in?
Yeah.
He's obviously
So
doing
you're watching
Movember.
a room basically.
They had a murder mystery one on like Sega. Maybe.
I'm trying to find the part where you have to actually like make people like they would cast actual actors and shit. What the fuck? Where's the actual gameplay part?
There is no
All
gameplay.
sequences. Oh, this is just the sequences.
Hold on, stay around.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hold on. No, this is the playthrough.
Dude, what's with the
Let
southern
me show you the
tie?
actual playing of it. This is all right.
Boy, we both know that. But you must start doing your job. We
So you
all
have these
to do
security
our job.
cameras
that
in all these
Corey?
various rooms.
We'll help your cousin with that.
Could be Haim. I'm not sure. Yeah. See, and then those were the guys you had to trap.
That's the Night Rapist.
See, he pulled a trap, and then you got rid of the guy. You see, that was the game.
Wow.
That's what you did. You just watched
Damn,
security
son.
cameras.
It is amazing video games survived this long.
Yeah.
It's amazing this YouTube clip has 11,000 hits. Is what's amazing.
2 dislikes though.
Here we go.
Oh,
Why is he wearing a fucking trash bag? And
like,
So you know who to pull the trap
oh
on.
no, missed. My
You don't
natural enemy.
You don't want to pull the trap
who
on
are
the
these
sorority
These
girls.
are some real low grade goons, yo. Oh my god, this is terrible.
Yeah, girls.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
white women.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I gotta get a drink, you dirty stuff.
Oh shit. Look at them white women.
the white women?
This is my cousin,
There you go.
Tony.
Wait, is there a sound effect when he says, "Where's the white women at"?
No, that was just my own. I have that
Where the white women at?
on the
Oh,
thing.
nice.
Anyway, I can't believe you don't remember Sega CD. You don't remember the
No,
There was a controversy about
I
Night Trap
remember it.
because there was like if you went to certain rooms at certain times, you could like catch a chick coming out of the shower and stuff. It wasn't part of the game, like it wasn't a goal, but it was just like because they filmed so much stuff.
I played a lot
you
of
know.
video games, and like I wouldn't save up for like action figures or like GI Joes or anything. I would save up for video game systems.
And they
I
never
had-
finish them.
No, well, you shut your mouth. I had
Dusty's whole room was just a pile of sadness.
I had a Nintendo,
Dusty, come out of your sadness hole.
a
Your
Super
friends are here.
a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis. I always wanted a Sega Nomad.
just
I had a 3DO.
how you want your sadness today, baby?
I had a 3DO. I had a Sega Saturn. I
Did
had
you
a
have one of those Nintendo Reds, the like fucking virtual red?
virtual.
ones?
No,
That was maybe the worst console I feel like that's ever been released. Just all like red 3D.
You've
Do you
never
remember that
played-
What are you talking about?
The Nintendo
Virtual
like,
Boy.
Virtua Boy, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Boy,
And they had Virtua Tennis and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
game
this
was
is-
tough as shit too.
this is-
Everything was tough as shit. Okay, wait, no. You all rip on me, but name a game, a Nintendo game that you beat when you were a kid. Not nowadays. When
Yeah,
you were a
absolutely.
Kid.
All of the Marios,
I call
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Yo Noid, all of the Sega
Number
CD
one,
games.
I'm calling bullshit on Noid, and I'm calling bullshit on the first Mario. What? I'm calling. I don't know how we're
bullshit
now
on
you
Chip
don't
and
mean
Dale.
I don't mean Mario. I should say Super Mario. Yes.
Okay, no. The
I can
one
play that through today, all
no,
levels,
it doesn't matter
without
about
losing a life.
today.
And as a kid, I could do it too. I played it so much. I know that game like the back of my hand.
Do you want to know something creepy about that game?
I could play it blindfold at this point.
That if you read the story manual, they'll say that when Koopa came into the Mushroom Kingdom, he turned all the toads into blocks. So you're basically Mario smashing blocks, doing this mass genocide.
Listen, I get it, bro.
But you're already-
all the game is
yeah.
sadness. This is all sadness. You know what I'm saying?
You're also
No.
stomping on turtles that are just trying to have a day.
Listen,
You know what I mean? Like,
the
out
turtles
in the
ain't trying to
field.
have a day. The turtles gonna eat me, son. You got to die.
Talk
No,
about
they're
a game
just
that
chilling.
drops you into nothing.
What kind of turtle are you talking about? This is
Just talking
chilling.
like the turtles, that just chill, just walking
Yeah.
back and forth until you run into them. They're just minding
And they
their
murder
business.
you?
They're not murdering.
Those sound
you.
like gang members.
Them
to me,
motherfuckers
Mitch.
have wings. I don't know no turtles that have no motherfucking wings.
Sound
Well,
like
that's later.
Sound
That's-
like a bunch of PCP heads.
That's from World 3-1 onwards.
you fucking lie.
Okay. Before then, it's just turtles walking.
Listen, you ain't got to kill me, turtle. I wouldn't kill you if you wouldn't kill me, but I already know you killed like a million other versions of me, so it's kill or be killed, turtle.
This is the survival of the fittest.
Let me ask you a question, turtle. You ever read Lord of the
You're
Flies?
you're telling me Super Mario Brothers, the original Super Mario Brothers that it was bundled with the NES.
And Duck Hunt,
You
yeah.
never beat it.
As a kid, no. Nowadays,
That's
yes.
surprising.
No.
Look, I was so into that shit.
Dude.
I watched the fucking. I remember I
Dusty got
watched
to,
the
like-
live action Super Mario TV
Same
show
here with Captain Lou Albano.
Yes.
Yo, that show was
Yes.
baller, son.
Like that was my
Baller.
life. We would go home after school. We would
your
all
phone
go
down,
to
sucker.
one of the kids who had an NES's house, and we would like set up competitions for how far you could go with this, or how many lives you could lose before that, or blah 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 blah. Until the Super Mario Brothers show came on, and then that came on, and then it was right back to Super Mario Brothers again.
I only really got to play Nintendo when I went over to friends' houses.
Yeah, ditto.
So I didn't really get too much.
But it just
access
so
to
happened that all of my friends had it, so it was okay.
No.
Until my one friend got a Super Nintendo, and then he gave me his old Nintendo, and I was like, "Yeah, I've got a Nintendo!" And I was like 13 or 14 by that point, and then I just played Final Fantasy games, like 1
Final
and 2.
Fantasy was pretty
I
good.
spent almost
Never
a
got
whole
that.
summer
Never
working my
really-
way through
I was
Final
more,
Fantasy.
more with sports games, I guess. Whenever I like actually got a video game to play, which I feel like now is the same thing, where like I don't feel like I have earned the right to play video games as an adult.
Video games nowadays
I
are
mean,
just too
I play.
easy.
The only thing I play on my Wii is Tiger Woods.
Yeah, Tiger.
You know,
I download old games.
You know
Yeah.
what game I play? Like I play games on my phone every now and then.
emulating is like my
I'll tell you
favorite fucking thing in
game
the world.
on
What's
my,
up?
on my phone. This is my favorite game I got on my phone.
Angry
It's-
Birds Star Wars? That's what I got.
Ha ha! You wish it's called Civil War 1863.
What?
And I'm going around as the Union, keeping the country together.
Let me just-
deep into the
can I-
fucking
can I
South,
point out-
Sherman will march to the sea.
I have
Would
to
never
point out
have guessed you
something.
play for the North. Not in my wildest dreams.
Sandbagging so.
I'm pointing out something that happened off the screen, and the two of you will understand it. Maybe viewers at home might not, but our good friend Richard Wendling has been just
Richard, go
enthralled by
fuck
this
yourself.
whole podcast. But for no reason at all. Tell me this doesn't sound like Richard Wendling's about to start his own chapter of the Klan. He just wrote this in apropos, by the way, of nothing. I just want to let you guys know that a McDonald's commercial just showed up, and it was all in Espanol.
Yeah, that sounds like some real.
Like sitting there, like no one's freaked out about that, Richard.
That sounds like
Just
some
you.
real night terror shit. You might want to.
Guys, Richard has a point, okay?
If we let these Mexicans have their own McDonald's commercials,
You know
what next?
You know what I feel like is most telling about that moment? And there's so many.
like, why did you
There's
tell
so
me
many.
about this?
But the
But all right.
thing is that like it fucking on the door of 2013, someone is like, you know, they got fucking McDonald's commercials in Spanish now. Like, this
About
is
to
like-
burn this motherfucker to the ground.
Those Mayans
Like,
are right.
It's very similar to the dude. I'm please hope you saw this video of the Republican Party chair in Maine talking about the voter fraud that happened because like a couple black people showed up out the
Yeah,
woods,
yeah.
and nobody in town knows anybody who's black. So like clearly it has to be fraud. And then they followed up with him the next day, and he's like, "It's not racist. I played basketball with black people. First of all, okay, that's literally what he used as an excuse." And then his other follow-up was, I also had reports of some China people coming in, and nobody knows anybody who's from China, so therefore it's not just racism because it's not black people too, it's also these Chinamen coming in.
At least he didn't say Oriental.
I don't know where if it falls on the offensive divide between Chinaman and Oriental. I tried to get over this with you. I was like, "What's more offensive, Negroid or nigger?" And you told me that Negroid was somehow
Yeah, because
worse.
it's clinical.
Yeah, it does sound
No,
scientific. It
no,
does.
it
does
is.
like,
It is that scientific.
We've been
like,
studying the Negroid
Nazism
gene for
fucking-
many a year. That's true.
There's
That's
the
probably true.
Autobots, and then the Negroids, and then the Decepticons.
And then the Chinaman.
And then the Chinaman. Hey, come on, get into your
listen,
Transformer mythos.
Gary, we
Where,
love
where
this
do they get
idea.
their own McDonald's commercial? In Jive, all right?
Yeah, right. do, you,
Shit, Mama, go get a Big Mac now.
do you know there are Transformers that sound like Negroes? That's Richard Wendling's next comment.
Yeah, how did you feel
They
about
are
the...
terrible.
That was some real fucking,
fucking-
that was
that's some
coonery,
racery
son.
shit,
That's why
right?
I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
surprised
like,
that Michael
what?
Bay had
Alright.
some racist shit in the fucking Transformers.
Bubble Bus Explosion.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
fucking Michael Bay. Come
Yeah,
on, man.
alright.
Let's fucking. They might have expected nothing fucking.
You mean in the second one? Or did he have it in the third one as well?
I
don't-
have not
Look, I
seen the
would
third
not-
one, and I'm really
You
not chomping
are
at the
missing
bit.
out on
I didn't even watch the
Masterpiece
second one.
Theater.
A masterpiece of what? American Decline.
The only thing it missed was Kevin James. So
I can get cum in my eye for free.
I guarantee you, there's a Kevin James cameo Easter egg buried somewhere. there.
there should be in all movies.
What are you doing here, zookeeper? Optimus tapped me.
Yeah, basically he's Zoidberg.
He just runs away.
He's the new Zoidberg.
Why not the Kevin James? Yeah.
Because if I beat up one Decepticon, then the music department stays on board for another school year.
I actually did see that movie.
You would get out here right now.
I did see that movie. And
Pay money for it?
Yes.
Get out.
I
You know what
went
you
on a
should have been
date.
doing at that time? Trying to beat those games you couldn't play as a kid.
You shut your mouth!
Yeah! Wow!
No!
Wow!
Yeah.
Boom in your face.
Get some.
Okay, this is white man logic. I want you to prove to me that you beat them, and if you don't prove to me, that means you never did beat them.
All right. How do you
Case
want?
in
What
point.
proof?
And
What
if you don't
proof do you
prove it,
want?
I get your
What
house.
proof do you want? I mean, I
get your house,
can't
and I
prove
get
what
to
I
have
did
sex
as
with
a
your mom.
child. I
Well,
can.
it sounds like you about to be homeless. Bon voyage. Hope
Yes.
they got shopping carts.
Logic, my logic is sound, son.
Also,
But
I-
proof,
residual
I
income.
want video of you beating it when
Well,
you were
I
a kid.
I don't have a time machine.
Then, boom, give me your keys.
Sounds like you won't get to vote this year.
No, I mean, I
You can't prove a negative.
could
I
beat-
will, but here's the thing. I would tell
sounds
you
like
there are
Luther talk.
definitely plenty of games I played as a kid that I didn't beat. Most of them, I would say,
I
probably.
could beat more
But if I got
Super
like,
Nintendo games.
I'm one of these obsessive, like geeky type of people. We talked about that before when Stoya was on, where I was saying like vaginas became my favorite video game because it's like you're just like you got
feel about
to
that, Dusty.
each one is like it's a special boss, right? And you got to figure out its tricks and it's like, oh, this one goes left and this one, you got to this is a clit monster and whatever have you. So you got to
you soiled.
so I'm
this podcast.
analytical about that kind of stuff. So it's like I'll just keep working on it until I figure out the trick,
And
so
down,
as-
down.
Yeah, how old are you?
Old man. 912. Carrot juice.
He's Methuselah's second cousin.
Yeah. But as a kid, so that's the thing is, as a kid, when I had video games, I would just play that. I didn't get frustrated the same way that I think other people would, where I would play them over and over again until I figured out the trick, whatever it was.
I want to remind you when I was 7, the Super Nintendo was released. So
Okay, I
me
was
trying to beat
in
Nintendo games like
middle school.
me trying to beat those
Vietnam.
other games, I couldn't.
I was in Nam and shit.
Where were you, pussy?
Tell you what, I was there when they made the line in Korea.
We played a video game called
34th Parallel?
Kill Charlie.
I was in Night Trap. All right. Yeah. No, I'll grant you that would. But then Super Nintendo games. Are you
I could
telling
beat
me
some
that
Super Nintendo games.
they were easier for you
Yes.
because of your age? Then,
Yeah, and that's
so
what I
then
think.
you
is the
can't
main
really blame the
proponent.
NES games per se.
No, the Nintendo
So
games are still
your
shit.
How is a
SNES is
Wookiee?
my NES. How? So then you're wait. Don't tell me. Then you're 27.
Dude, right on the spot,
Okay.
right on the dot, right nice.
Because I know how old I am, and when you were 7, when the SNES came out, and I was about
The
14,
age of your
so-
failure predates you.
See, I'm pretty good.
I hate his comments. They're a thorn in my side. They hurt. But like my favorite video game to date is Contra Alien Wars. And that's the game that I learned how to beat just without a continue.
I think I've got, like there's those movies that they come on and you're like, I'm in. I'll just watch this forever. You know what I mean? There are certain video games that like if I just have some free time, somebody goes like, hey, if you want to play for a while, like I'm just gonna be like, there goes my day. I'm just saying if it happens.
Yeah, hook them up to me.
GameFly just has
Well,
a
now,
moving team.
I can
Hey,
explain.
what's up?
I can explain in very, very specific situations where this happened. But Super
about
Mario
an emulator,
Brothers,
baby?
Super Mario Brothers, and the 2 Star Foxes, I can play forever. And when the Wii came out, you could
Star
buy all 3 of those in the little Wii shop and play it with your Wiimote. And so sometimes when I was just like sitting around with like nothing to do, I was like, play a little Star Fox, beat Star Fox 64 for the umpteenth million time.
That's
But
what
let me see if I can do it in one guy or whatever.
Fuck 'em.
No, you're hating.
No.
Top
No.
3
No.
video games.
No.
Top 3 video games. No
Fuck 'em.
Pacific Order.
Star Fox 64?
Get out.
Even
my
Star
face.
Fox the original, but Star
Get out
Fox
my
64
face.
is a fucking phenomenal.
No,
you
Star Fox
you either
64 is pretty
didn't
good.
play it or you have no idea what you're talking about.
Fuck,
Or
I
you
played
just
Star
hate
Fox,
babies.
and both.
That's also okay, yeah.
Fuck
2
them
out of
with-
3 ain't bad.
Teddy, what do you have against white people?
Damn! I tell you what I do. It's called Star Fox and Jim Crow.
Jim Crow. Contra, Alien Wars, Kingdom Hearts. I love the Kingdom Hearts
Still
series.
haven't played it.
Can
Heard
anybody-
it was good.
can we just
Heard a
mention
lot of good
Golden
things.
Axe
Have
and
you
move
played?
on, please?
Have you played Epic Mickey?
No.
That is surprisingly fucking
that a good
addictive.
game?
It's surprisingly good. I haven't played it all the way through. I bought it for my niece a few years back, and then I ended up. She like went to bed, and I was like, "All right, I'm on this shit." And I fucking played it for like 6 hours.
That
and I
was
like,
Kingdom Hearts
I
for
have
me.
to drive home now.
And Bomberman because I love terrorists.
Fuck yeah, Bomberman,
Dude.
Now we're talking
Bomberman.
Yo, son,
Mindless.
I was
Mindless.
what? No, listen. First of all,
I
you
need a
sound
journey.
like somebody that
I
doesn't.
need a fucking journey. I can't
It's
just sit there and do the
it's
thing.
called-
You just brought
Shut-
up
hold
bad
on,
dudes.
Hold on.
Yes, there's a
talking
journey.
about,
There's
journey?
a journey. There's a journey. You're a bad dude on a journey.
You just brought up. Don't tell me you need a journey when you brought
I
up
need
bad
to be.
dudes.
I'm a bad dude trying to get a bitch. That's a journey.
You ain't never seen Bonnie the Bad Guys? Hey, fuck, man.
Sometimes a bad dude needs his bad chick. You know what I'm saying?
Is there
And
always
bad
this much
dude's gonna
yelling
kick
on
some
the-
ass?
As Mike Jones once said, I'm looking for a bad bitch. I'm a bad dude, okay?
To be fair, Dusty, you eat the mic and yell at it, so we all have to keep up with your volume.
No.
I'm a loud guy.
Listen,
It's all right. I like a good. I'm curious to see how this is going to come out when I have to tie it all together. Usually, I'll edit them the same night, and on account I'm going out of town on Wednesday, I only have like a limited, and I have a fucking show tomorrow. So like,
Where's your show?
I'm hoping I can get this.
We'll get to that
this all,
later.
but yeah, that's a later thing. But the point is that. Because of the weird audio issue earlier, I had to fucking stitch shit together.
I was going to mention something before we all got
I
lost
should have just
in
left the local recording
the-
going,
in
and we would have been
the
fine.
spirit.
But all right, go ahead. What you got? What you got?
Choose your words wisely.
You
Dark
talking
man.
about Bomberman?
Dark
About
Man.
Bomberman.
Oh, we're talking about
Yes,
Bomberman. Oh, I thought you were
thank
talking
you.
about
Need
the
a
game.
journey.
Thank you, Dusty.
Play
Thank
yourself
you.
some Final
Now,
Fantasy
again,
and come back to work.
Shut your mouth for a second.
Shut your mouth.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna
right.
tell you about the journey behind Bomberman. It's
I know
called
Journey. That's like
the
Minesweeper.
game of life. You understand? And when you learn
Minesweeper
how to
with a
box
better
a man
character.
in with a bomb and watch him blow up as the whole world implodes on itself, that is the journey, baby.
And then
Now-
you don't know nothing about no Bomberman.
And then you take his shoes.
Hold on.
and then a starter jacket to keep you warm on the walk home.
That's a
Suddenly,
symphony.
here's the
That is
thing.
what America was built
I
on.
suddenly
Run
understand
that history channel.
almost everything I need to know about Teddy based on his enthusiasm for Bomberman.
No, what are you saying right now, son?
Bomberman was freaking.
I'm not saying you're bombing anybody. I'm just saying,
Tell
like,
me what my enthusiasm for Bomberman reveals about
the
me,
psychology of you as a modern day Teddy is directly rooted to your enjoyment of Bomberman as a child.
What are you talking about? Oh, how many
If
of
I
us?
ever have children, I think I'm going to sit them in front of Bomberman. If they don't like it, I'm like, all right, I know which way you go. I know.
Well, on top of
No,
that,
if they do, I'm like, all right, so you're going to be into politics.
Let me talk to your Uncle Teddy and see if he's got some free time.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be over when I beta tested Bomberman with the
It's gonna be
kid.
too late. I'd be
I
like,
can be like,
I'ma walk in
because you're
with
gonna be like, let me show you some cool shit. I'm like, no, don't encourage them.
Hey, Mitch, hey, I got something in the car. You gonna pick it up? All right, listen, I brought that gold edition Bomberman. Let's go on. This was the Neo Geo version.
Teddy, did you just install a new deadbolt on my lock here?
remember what I
Did you
told
change
you?
the security code?
Remember what I told you about the security code access?
dude, Bomberman got ruthless when you were able to pick up bombs and throw it in those bitches'
son,
houses.
When I first time I realized that you could throw a bomb, oh my God,
that was
the
hate.
game has changed.
to the nth level. Like, that was hating on a whole
I could
new
take
level.
your bomb. Oh my God, the game has changed.
All right.
Oh my god. I can hate in 4 dimensions.
Let's go.
I don't know where that's from.
I can hate in 4 dimensions.
I don't
think
know.
it's from Dusty's imagination.
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's
All
from
right,
straight.
okay.
I
Fair
think
enough,
it's
fair
straight Riffin.
I'm glad he's laughing at it because my girlfriend don't laugh at
I can
shit.
hate in 4 dimensions. Dusty, you know you shouldn't be looking in the mirror when you talk to jokes.
No, Bomberman. Okay, what was your top 3 video games? Because that's how we got started.
I don't really have a
No,
top.
no, that's just it. It's tricky because I'm not saying top 3. I'm just telling you, video games I could play fucking any time. There's like free time if it's on. There was at the club across the street, Bordner's, and then on Saturday it's Bar Sinister. I don't know if they still do this, but on Mondays they used to have a thing called Blue Monday, where they'd play like 80s synth pop,
does it feel?
and then upstairs, exactly, and then upstairs they had old like console games just set up, and I went up there and I was like, oh my god, they have an NES set up with Super Mario Brothers, while I listen to synth pop and get drunk in a fetish club, and I was like, this is where I'm hanging. And I just sat up there playing playing Super Mario Brothers for like 3 hours, and I was like a slice of fucking heaven. The only problem was that I had to sit there and wait till the bartender came by to order drinks because I didn't want anybody taking over my game because I was working on a whole thing.
Well, you said 3, right?
No, the first one.
Oh, well, the first one.
I love 3 as. I mean, look,
3, you can work on the flutes.
all
and
the
that.
goddamn Super Mario Brothers. I'm fucking Super Mario Galaxy. I didn't play Galaxy 2 yet, but.
They say that one's like the definitive game of games.
Galaxy? Oh my god. It's weird because it when I first played it, I was like in a trance. I was just like, this is like where I want to be. Just playing this. There was no part of it that stressed me out.
See, that
Like
was,
Mario 64, a lot of stress.
no, that was especially when you're
Yeah,
trying
son.
to go on the rope and whatnot. Yeah.
Listen, I didn't.
and then you kick some ass and they're like, oh, you get 1 out of 5 stars, and you're like, what?
I gotta
And they're like,
fucking-
yeah, you got to go back. There was a guy off to the left you missed,
son.
and you're like,
Fuck
fuck
that
you.
noise.
But Galaxy, if you've never played it,
I just wanted to
let
be
me
a
just
real
tell
life
you,
supervillain.
it is definitely. I don't know if it's. My heart goes back to the nostalgic early Super Mario Brothers because I was there when they released 2 and 3. I remember that.
I was there.
I remember when fucking The Wizard with Fred Savage came out.
Oh, shout out to Fred Savage.
And the whole thing,
American classic.
The entire reason that movie was made was to show trailers for Super Mario 3.
No, it wasn't. The entire reason it was made is because it's based on freedom, and children
And the
like
Power
it.
Glove.
And the Power Glove
so
sold
bad.
very well. It sold very well.
And I went and
But
saw
there's a
that
lot of
movie
freedom.
in the theater
a lot of freedom.
solely because we were all going to get a look at Super Mario Brothers 3. And then fucking karmic smack or whatever, a cosmic hilarity is then after literally the day I watched that film, I went over to my friend's house and I was like, yeah, I just went and watched The Wizard. That's Super Mario Brothers 3. I can't wait for it to come out. And he goes, my dad works with NASA. It works at NASA, and he helped Nintendo develop some like space related video game, and they needed his knowledge.
course.
So
Mad
they
spaceship.
gave him an
Naturally.
early fucking release copy of Super Mario Brothers 3. So I got to play Super Mario Brothers 3 a month before it came out, and it was like the greatest day of my childhood. And it was the day that I went and saw The Wizard. And so I remember when Super Mario Brothers 2 came out. Like I remember these things. So like
So what
That's
you're
just a
saying
piece
is,
of me
if I
as,
took
like,
a
who I
copy
am.
of Super Mario 2 or 3 and set it on fire in front of you, you would weep openly.
no, because I have an emulator.
You had a voice. You had
No,
a voice
no,
in it?
because I
Let's say all emulators.
'Cause I have an emulator.
All emulators have been broken forever.
why would you do that to me?
Okay, boom. There it is. Facade. No.
Number
Here-
1.
Why would you want to do that to a man? I wouldn't do that to your Obama, man.
I wish I could
Why
go back in
you
time
gotta
and take
do
Fred
that?
Savage out. You don't deserve to be in the tournament.
Bah! Chris
You
Brown.
can't tell me that Super Mario Brothers 3 isn't a fucking for what it
No,
was,
really.
surprisingly, because it's running on
Look, I
all
think
the
we
same
should-
hardware that Super Mario Brothers 1 ran on, which is fucking amazing when you think about it. That Super Mario Brothers 3 had so much replayability, hiding behind blocks and like getting fucking different stars and playing the card game. Super Mario Brothers 3 was the fucking pinnacle of the
I
NES.
think what
You
we
could have
can
just
say
thrown it out the window
as
after that.
Dusty, I'm sure, he looks to have a litany of things he wants to discuss over there. The last
Although
thing we
Super
can
Mario
say
World was also
about
fantastic.
video games is that all things fail before Golden Axe. Dusty, what else? Do you-
Golden Axe, fucking
Greatest-
fantastic,
Greatest game of all time.
fantastic
Greatest of all
game.
time.
I didn't
Especially
see-
when you get to
Loved-
kick the gnomes in the face.
Love the
Greatest
shit.
thing of all time.
That
Teddy's
was
going to
the best
react to this, but
fucking
hold on.
Golden Axe.
I did not see The Wizard because it did not have Kevin James in it, so fuck that noise.
He also was not really somebody that he would have been my age, you know, 8
Excuse
years
me,
old at the
I
time.
know you were trying to make a real heartfelt, sentimental movie, but like, could you maybe add Kevin James as some relief when shit gets real serious as a janitor with a lot of wisdom?
Could you like maybe get a time machine and bring this old dude that's not even like really a guy yet?
He slips on maybe the
He's
stuff
like
he just
a freshman in high school when you made a wizard.
And then there's like a
Soda.
gorilla that can play video games, and then Kevin James can introduce him as like a character that comes into the
Why's
last
it gotta
minute.
be a gorilla?
Can you grab me one too? I think 3 was really, really good, and they topped themselves.
What did you think with World?
They peaked themselves
Yeah.
with World.
You don't,
Can
but
I-
you
can I
haven't
get-
played Galaxy.
Can I get one too? No, I played a little bit of Galaxy.
If you just have a day to yourself with Galaxy,
I don't know. World is pretty amazing with all the different paths.
don't get me wrong, World was fucking phenomenal in more ways than I can count. It just I don't have the same nostalgia, but I'm with you, and I can understand
Favorite
based on
video
your
game?
nostalgia.
Mario's
that's
missing.
fine.
Mario's missing. Hands down.
I haven't-
Boom.
I have not played that.
You learn shit.
I
played
didn't
that
really
one.
hear anything you said after I mentioned Golden Axe.
It was a great fucking game. I would play the shit out of that.
that's
Here's
all
what I'm
I
going to
have
do.
to
Here, I've been meaning to do it for years, but
Which
I always,
one? Which
I always felt
Golden
like
Axe?
I shouldn't bother to like
Doesn't matter.
because I'd never leave the house. But here's what I'm going to do: is I'm gonna set up
it doesn't.
my little emulator thing in the living room. I'm gonna build a little computer just for emulating, and I will have all the arcade games. I already have on the ROMs. I have all the NES ROMs, all the Super NES ROMs, and all the Genesis ROMs. And I'm just gonna get a couple of arcade games. I'm gonna have you all over, and we'll hash it out over what game is better and what not.
Okay.
It'll
All
be
right.
fun. It'll be a
Yeah,
good time.
let's do it.
I'm gonna move along. Move along.
Let's do that. Looking forward
Let's
to it.
see.
You better bring some.
I found a website that just sort of fascinates me, and it's interesting just because we went through all of this nostalgia and things like this, and video games and
I
whatnot.
too have stumbled on the Drudge Report before.
Did you know gaming?
This is a website called Obsessionistas, and it's basically they're going over people's collections of various things, and they'll show like parts of the collection. This person has a collection of walkie-talkies. This person has a collection of irons. For instance, this person has a collection of iPods. There's
That
whistles,
person does not want a face to be known. So
Did you say
everybody
all
else has got a
white people?
face. No,
Is that what you
I didn't
said?
say it. No, I said-
plugs and sockets. It's just fascinating to see the things that people
They
collect.
are
Do
all
you
white.
have either of you? Do you have a collection?
Did
you-
you have all old school Walkman? Is that
Yeah,
what?
yeah. This person has collected a bunch of so many Walkmans. Let's take a look at their collection a little bit. Unfortunately, it's not like an extensive list of their entire collection. It just shows like a
That's
few
a
of them.
shitload of Walkman though.
But I want to.
yeah. I'm
What
with
is,
you.
well, so is it like their own
Which one
personal
did you have?
museum?
I had this like yellow one. Yeah, this is the
That's
one.
the one
had.
that I wanted because that was the one from the Circuit City commercial where the kid brought the fucking thing
Yeah!
out,
We
and
talked
he was
about it
like,
before.
"Give me my money," and they were like, "We do business right in America," and I was like, "Let's go to Circuit City."
It's gonna be bankrupt 2012.
That was Circus
Let's
City.
get it now. Let's get it now, baby.
That's why they went bankrupt.
that
They
was
give
one
them
of the
bitches like
greatest
you.
commercials of all time, son.
No, I do remember that. I remember
What are you
we talked
talking
about it
about?
on this podcast
Have you
maybe
ever
a year
heard
ago.
of brand loyalty?
Could you imagine if you went to Apple and you were like, "Hey, I bought an iPhone 4S yesterday, and today I saw this," and they were like ad for the
Imagine
iPhone
that
5,
kid. Imagine
and
that
Apple
kid.
was like, "Oh, hold on, let me give you $180."
No, Apple would be like, "Go fuck
They
yourself,
even
kid."
gave
Yeah.
him the coin, son.
That's right.
They gave that man the
All
coin.
it was, and by the way, all he did was bring in a fucking coupon that he didn't cut out earlier, which is the whole point of cutting coupons. And the guy was
Right.
like, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're lazy.
Yo.
Here's some money."
What did
That's
that tell
fucking.
you?
I remember that.
That's
That
good
touched me
business.
as a child. I was like, "You can
I
do
was
that?
like,
That's
yo,
a thing."
You telling me the person that runs Circuit City got a heart like that?
Hell
We
yeah.
need to go to Circuit City, B. Let's buy groceries.
That guy probably reads to his kids at night.
Yo, you mean he's there?
Yeah, by the time I got
shit.
around to getting a Walkman, I did get the little sports, waterproof yellow one with the little collapsing thing. I didn't have like a Walkman earlier than that.
yeah.
So unfortunately, I don't have as much nostalgia for Walkmans.
So, Dusty, do you have a obsession?
I'm trying to think, but first of all, I was trying to think if I even have a Walkman.
Here's
I don't
the-
think I ever had a Walkman.
Here's the thing. What's
Chicago
interesting is
Bears.
when I read this, when I was looking at this
Sadness.
website and I was so fascinated, I was like,
is.
I was thinking of all the times in my life that I've had like 3 or 4 or something, and I thought I should start a collection. And then I quickly was like,
It's a real.
you know what? I'm gonna
privilege.
throw all these sugar packets away or these
It's a-
matchbooks.
It's a real privilege thing to be
Let
able
me,
to
let me
like
show you
have
one
a
collection
Walkman
you probably
essentially.
didn't know I had. And I got really obsessed with this collection for about 2 years.
Yo, where did all that
Hold on.
peyote come from?
Here's a collection I had for about 2 years. I mean, I still have it, but I'm saying I was like actively like, this is what I want in my life. And then once I amassed like quite a lot of them, I realized I have no way to display these things.
This is about to turn into an SVU episode.
And so I kind of forgot about my collection of original Absolute ads. Like, I mean, I shipped them from all over the world. You know, I've got the original Absolute. I've even got, this is fascinating, the Absolute 7, all of Absolute bottles as the 7 deadly sins in one
I
fascinating little
remember
book.
that one.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I've got the very first Absolute ad that ever ran. Oh wait, that's not the one. But it looks just like that. It's just basically an Absolute bottle with the thing.
What?
And so
Wait,
I have,
why?
What's happening right
This is
now?
from the UK.
What's going on?
But wait.
What is going
I
on?
want.
And I got a couple of a couple of ones from like, oh, look at
So
that.
what?
Absolute Karloff.
What? Why?
What drove you
Yeah,
to collect
why?
it?
Oh.
Absolute.
Check that out, huh?
Ads.
Absolute
Yeah,
extra.
I mean, yeah. So why? Can we do an intervention?
No, we get
This is
that
my
you
favorite
have a
one.
bunch of
Absolute
ads.
sadist.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's
With the lock and the
yeah.
chain.
So why?
I'm
Yeah.
a little bummed that I don't have the.
You're not answering the question.
I
It's
just
like a bad episode of Hoarders. It's like-
Well, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Here's what it is.
So
It's
what,
basic.
like, he hoards,
I
but
think
not that
probably
much.
like.
What happened?
What happened?
Was
to
it
you?
instantaneous, or
Well-
did you have to go back?
Or did your uncle touch
We
you
have to
one
go
time
back.
at band camp?
We have to go back. Kate.
Very, very similar. It's a thing where I was traumatized and I ran to Absolute ads.
okay.
But not as a child, like as an adult, as a web designer that I do, you know, as a freelance and a few times in my youth, worked at like various agencies and stuff. And it bothered me that in any situation where I was coming up with anything marketing or whatever have you, I always worked for people who didn't have like marketing departments. They didn't have their shit together. They didn't have any idea what they were doing. And so I basically was web designer, graphic designer, and marketing all in one. And yet my opinion was completely irrelevant.
As well, it should be.
I was
peasant.
just a robot pushing pixels,
Sir.
and it bothered me. So that every time I came up with like a genius marketing idea, whether it was genius or totally shit, doesn't matter. Any idea I came up with for many years, clients were like, "No, we can't do that." And I was like, "Think about classic ads. Like, this is sort of a." I'll give you an example. I worked for a newspaper. My first like post high school job. I worked for a newspaper in their ad department. And they wanted me to make an ad for they used to run free classifieds. If you were selling something that was a common household item for under $2,000, they would run it for free.
duffel bag with meth available.
On request.
They would say that's not common for most people to have meth in their house. I'm just telling you that's how they'd say it.
Depends on what county you live in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apache Junction.
Phoenix. I know.
Wait,
Anyway.
wait. No, I want to know why is he making this face?
I know because Phoenix has a lot of meth. But
They do.
I
Apache.
know,
It's called
I know.
Apache Junction.
Well, this was not. Well, we did have newspapers in Apache Junction, but that was.
Did
a
you
different-
live in Apache Junction?
No, I'm just listen.
Apache
My point is
Junction, what's
that
your-
so the idea was
your
she was like, how do we get people's attention to like let them know we have these free classifieds, and they would just have entirely text ads. So what I did is I scanned a nickel, and I put most of the ad was this big fucking nickel, and then it said more than what it costs to run a classified ad, or more than the cost of a classified ad. And she's like, oh, you need to write in our paper, and I was like, okay, fine, in our paper, you know. So now the headline's a little too long. And then she's like, well, the thing is, you need to have all this legalese below it. And I was like, I'll put a little thing that says common household items under $2,000 run for 2 weeks for free. Call us. Big phone number. And she's like, well, no, it needs more text than that. So the headline ended up becoming, and she's all, you can't write more, by the way. You have to say this is. And I'm like, fucking whatever. So the headline, literally tiny nickel at this point, 5 lines of black, just huge bold text said, this is more than what it would cost to run a classified ad in the Independent for household items under $2,000.
Catchy.
Yeah, catchy as fuck,
Very
right?
succinct.
Yeah.
She,
I'm sold.
And
That's what we
I said,
call
this
a
is a
zinger.
terrible, terrible ad. Now that you have ruined my original idea, this is a terrible ad. You should not run this. This is terrible. She goes, let's go get another opinion. So she goes to the graphic design department that does the ads for outside corporations, and she says, what do you think of this ad? And the lady says, that headline is way too long. And she hands it back to me, the boss who angry cunt that I've been screaming with for a week over this ad, hands it back to me. She goes, see, Mitch, it's just not going to work. And I was like, I want to fucking kill you. So I quit, like on the spot. I said, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I'm going home.
Good for you.
And that was it. And so anyway, I TBWA Chiat Day advertising agency came up with the absolute advertising thing. I even have the book on it and the whole thing. And it's fascinating to me that they were able to sell Absolute on the idea of don't ever tell them that it needs to be in a martini glass. Don't tell them that it needs to be used in a certain recipe. Don't tell them what to do with their vodka. Just show the bottle. We'll light it up so it looks a little bit fancy and it looks like it's like on stage or something like that. And just say it's absolute perfection. And that was the first ad, absolute perfection. It was just a bottle with a light. And they followed the absolute blankety blank campaign for years, where it didn't even show a bottle, just showed things that shaped like a bottle. And I got an immense amount of respect for not just that ad agency, but for Absolute, for going like, yeah, you get it, have some fun with it. And then that's been their ad campaign pretty much since. It's like just the iconic shape of the bottle, and like people know what it is. Let them figure it out. And so I guess that sort
Now
of
they've
obsession.
got greyhounds that are mechanical with people inside of them racing in the desert. For absolute greyhounds.
Natural progression.
in an
of
absolute world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naturally.
They're saying if everybody was drunk, we'd have a lot more fun.
So that's what made you love the simplicity of the Absolute Vodka ad.
And also the jealousy that I wasn't allowed to get away with that.
Oh.
In any ad, in
So
any,
it's sort of-
in
it's
any
sort of
ad,
a
in any
creative
company
parallel
I've
world
worked
for
for,
you.
I've never been allowed that kind of freedom. I've also got the absolute piercing. You see,
Of course.
How many of them? What is
there's ones that you just wouldn't even believe.
wait.
Absolute definition, which is just a page out of the dictionary with a picture of absolute vodka for the definition of vodka. And this is the kind of stuff that like, if you're not, Madison Avenue advertising executive, you show it to your boss and they go, could you make the logo bigger? Because like they don't fucking know anything.
Right.
And it drives me nuts because I'm like, these ads are, sort of perfection in a way. They get to the point. They're iconic. You remember Absolute. It's a very... People weren't used to spending that much on vodka. In fact, vodka was not a market until Absolute came around. Now, you go to the store and half the liquor aisle is vodka.
Grey Goose, get loose,
Yeah.
girl.
Oh shit.
There wouldn't be a Grey Goose if people hadn't fallen back in love with
wasn't
vodka.
Fidelli.
Oh.
There was not a vodka...
Tits and ass. Tits and ass.
There was no such thing as a vodka martini before Absolute.
Absolute.
So people got excited by vodka because
what
of the
is-
Absolute ad. So I'm
what
just
is-
saying, like, it bothers,
came
some-
along, and then
They changed the
came
shit.
in and
So it's
bamboozled
just,
them.
I don't know. It's
that's
a
a
fascinating
fair-
thing.
okay.
What does Bond drink? Doesn't he drink is that a gin martini? Oh, that's
gin.
a gin martini.
So, okay, do you have anything similar to that in terms of an obsession or an act? Because, I mean, I've never really been in a place in my life where I could, like, collect things.
as a kid, I wanted to. Like, I tried to do like a Pez collection with all the
Right,
different types
right.
of Pez.
Right.
But then I realized,
I guess the only thing that I can think is comparable, and I would never be able to submit it to a website, but in terms of the, like,
foreskins.
yeah, right. Riffin. This is probably illegal in like 7 time zones. I'm trying to see like what is the
But you
maritime
could use
rule?
it to, like, make a few livers.
So what if I was a doctor in Morocco?
And people came for me for a circumcision.
So I guess the only thing that I could even feel like I could come close to submitting would be the knowledge about the world as a kid. Then that's why I read so ferociously. And as Alex Mandelberg has
Good guy. Hell of a party.
He's great. Shout out to Mr. Mandelberg.
What?
As he is fond of saying, like books like The Count of Monte Cristo, which I read in elementary school. I did not like. Some people saw a story, whereas I saw a blueprint, and I was like, "Oh, word, son."
You saw a blueprint?
A blueprint, shit, Edmond Dantes is still one of my guiding lights, and that's where I was like, yo, you gonna throw me in prison with this old motherfucker with all the knowledge, and then I get out, and then I get word, and then I get to find the money, word, and then I just come back and regulate on everybody. Word, son. Word.
That is-
Show me where it is. Yeah, you gonna introduce me again, motherfucker, and I'm
introduce
gonna
me
be
to
a
my
count.
old wife.
And then, oh shit. Hey,
Okay, that
I'm
doesn't
a-
explain what your
it's the
okay.
obsession. It's the obsession of
I was
just
like-
like,
I
there's
was like
stories
going
like
off.
that where it's that like, oh, you mean that there was a man who lived in a world and like it wasn't just
Right,
the
okay.
story. It was the idea of as worlds be colliding, which is such a funny thing to me.
What?
It's that sense of I can take this world and this world and this world and I can absorb all worlds, kind of like the Crow, and I can just dispense knowledge like a fucking superhero. Do you know what I mean?
So like it's the
knowledge,
obsession.
son.
Yeah, it's the obsession with
So-
just
so-
like I feel like insignificant if I'm not reading or consuming something at some point. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
I feel like
okay.
I'm
So
squandering.
So do you collect books of revolutionaries, maybe?
Yeah, I should.
Can I
once
test
I have
you?
that,
That
once
should
I have
be
some
your thing.
Skrilla, once I have the place that I could be on a website with like a nice black turtleneck on and a
Can I
black and
test
white
you
photo.
on just a random fact?
If you want to live, no.
No.
Go ahead.
Who was the last president to come out of New York? Let's see. Let's see.
All right. Well,
Go back to prison. I probably should have yelled that, but let's see.
now you've made it. I'm not sure who that is. Who is that?
It was Roosevelt.
Ah.
Yeah, it was an argument I had with
Teddy or Franklin?
the one in the wheelchair.
To be Franklin.
There we go. Yeah.
One of the, that's I love Dusty's knowledge. The
So
one in the
you're
wheelchair. I don't
telling
know.
So wait. So what that says to me is like you just memorized a snippet on Wikipedia. It's not like you're like a fan.
I had
of
an argument
Franklin
with the lesbian
Roosevelt.
at work about she thought
Let's
Kennedy.
clink it. What's up?
No, don't clink this shit.
Yeah,
He made a-
motherfucker.
he makes a
Shit.
fair point.
I mean, I'm just
What?
saying.
That no, I always get those
Well,
two
there's
mixed
difference.
up.
I mean, I guess
I mean,
it's
Teddy's
the-
namesake was one badass motherfucker.
I mean, I guess like yeah, like
No, no.
there's. I feel like
I-
there's it's a distinction
And
between
really, when you get
like.
down to it, it's kind of
Well,
almost
watch out
weird
for
that
the.
he's on
You
a-
can't lean it that far, sir.
Oh yeah. Now you're
oh,
fucking
gotta
up my
reel it
shit,
in.
brother man.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, I
didn't
get it.
know. Oh, I got
Go
it.
ahead, keep talking.
So I feel like it's more the distinction of like.
Sorry about that.
Like systemic knowledge. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to like you could like there's all sorts of great trivial things. You know, like you could know like great trivia.
I
But,
do
like-
like that. I like
yeah.
the fact of holding knowledge.
Right,
I'm with
but
you
like,
on that one.
But I mean, in the sense of like a fundamental. I guess that is my one obsession. Is like I can fundamentally understand how this thing works, like the greater human evolution and arc. Like I can look at the larger arc of human existence behind me that's been recorded, and look at what's right now, and then look ahead and be like, yeah, I get it. It makes sense. And that's my obsession, I guess,
But
since a kid was
I-
figuring it out. I guess.
I like the knowledge.
sense?
I like to
Yeah.
collect that. I'm
Okay.
with you on that.
That's the only thing I can submit.
No,
as a
I
fucking
get.
obsession.
That's the thing is like
it's-
I do feel like for the most part collections seem to be the realm of like the over 45-ish
Right.
crowd of almost like going back to a nostalgic period and stuff like that. And I think that's. But I remember being a kid, and I think maybe we all. It seems like when we were talking about this, we all had this thing where we're like, as a kid, you had like 4 or 5 or something. You're like, I'm gonna start a collection. You know what I mean? And then you quickly are like, you know what?
The one thing I thought would be kind of cool to do that is like you thought of some like really nifty or clever vanity plate, and you're like, well, what if I got like all fucking 50 of them? You know,
Right,
like,
right.
I was like, but then I was like, that would be very tedious. I would
I've
not
seen,
wanna-
I've seen,
would
like I had a
not
friend
wanna
whose
pursue
dad
that.
had that in his garage. He had like 37 states.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same vanity plate. It was
Right.
it was a few of them,
But
but,
it was
it was
like
all
something
like
along those
it was
lines.
all bands that he liked.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. Maybe he may have just bought old license plates, but it's yeah. And I think that the thing is like what's weird about collections. If you started as a child, that's the genius way to go because you get them at market price and not markup price.
You gotta be like a fucking
But-
avant-garde collector.
Yeah, because if
basically.
you,
But you
as
don't
an
really know
adult,
that as
if
a
you were
child.
if you were as an adult buy a Star Wars
Disagree.
toy from the fucking, if you bought a Star Wars toy from the '80s, it was still in the package. It's going to cost you like $10,000.
the old 40-year-old virgin.
But as a
conundrum, you know?
but as a kid, you would have just got that for $1 at the store or Kmart or whatever.
Yeah,
the
but
fuck,
like as a
so.
kid, you wanted to play with it. Like
Exactly. That's
I
why
had the
collections
box
are
of
fucking
crayons.
hard.
So play with it or don't play with it. One of them is a penis reference.
the choice is yours. I mean,
I
like
still have a Darth Maul figurine in its original package.
Don't play with it.
The original from before the movie was even released.
I don't think Darth Maul. I mean,
I don't imagine it's not worth anything because I'm sure that's what everybody did. But you know, I still
2013
have it. Is my
Post-Mayan
point.
world. Darth Maul will be currency.
I got a
Oh,
few
buddy, you
old
won
Star
Darth
Wars
Maul for
comics. I
3
don't know
oxen.
if they're worth anything, but they're from the '80s. They're in like perfect condition. Somebody gave them to me, and I was like, all right.
I've never had nice things like that.
I don't got
I
nice.
laugh at your poverty, sir.
Damn, that was like the saddest moment I think we've
Don't
ever
you dare write that on the board.
I'm not gonna do it. It's so sad.
I,
like the
laugh
saddest
at your
30
poverty.
seconds. In
I
the
love how I
history,
laughed
maybe.
at it too.
Yeah, that was real. Like
In your face.
colonial.
I
I'm
do
looking.
I do have something I do want to get into. This is just sort of important on a personal level.
Oh no.
No, I mean it's important in the world, but I also have a personal vendetta, kind of not vendetta, but you know when people are accused of things, and like there's headlines that say did blankety blank do such and so on and so forth, and it's got the question mark, and the
Skeptical
answer
question
is
mark.
like almost always no. But what's unfortunate is when
Did
someone's
he keep his daughter in a rape dungeon for 15 years?
Dun dun dun.
Like, yeah, like the lead of the article says he did. Why? Like, why are we being skeptical?
Yeah, people remember the question or the accusation,
Well,
but
it's the framing.
yeah, they don't
like-
remember what happened. So
Exactly. Did Justin
When
Bieber
one of-
break up with Selena Gomez?
right,
We
exactly.
We don't know.
I
oh my
mean-
God, it happened. No, they're still together actually.
Yeah.
Right.
But it
Make up
seemed real shaky for a bit.
So when one of my personal heroes is accused of doing something that seems completely out of character for him, and then it's proved that he didn't actually do it, I feel like it's my duty to make a huge deal out of him not doing it.
All right, Riffalonians, mount up, son.
So here we go.
Say the word, B. Dagger time.
Recently,
Let's get it out.
I wonder.
Let's go.
I'm curious at who this is and what could this possibly be.
Recently, Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo, was alleged to have
this
fiddled
motherfucker.
around with a young boy who was underage and so on and so forth. It just turns out that the guy he fooled around with was an adult, just him and a younger boyfriend, but not so young that it was illegal. The dude was 23.
No,
But
at the
he was
time,
like,
I
"Oh
thought
no,
he
no,
was
I was
younger at the
16."
time.
He told everybody he was 16 when it started happening, which is just not true.
Well, there's
and he
been
recently was
another-
like, "All right, I was 23."
I see this article here that you've got here, but I know to get into it, it just came out again today. He's recanting the recant. So that's the late. I didn't get a chance to read about it, but he's basically recanting the recant that just came out a few days ago. So now apparently you could say, well, who knows what's going on? But go on now.
I'm gonna side with. Look, it's
go
probably
ahead, go
it's got to be hard enough
I'm
to
just
just be
bringing the whole picture
No, I
together.
got it. It's got to be hard enough to just be a gay black man in America
Who is a puppeteer?
Yeah, Nye, New York. Also,
Strike three. Get him out of America.
Right.
Get him out.
I'm sorry.
also working for a children's show
you're
and
gay
everything
and a
else.
puppeteer?
If you was
that's fine.
Good thing you're not black. Oh, he is.
if certain people knew that you were a puppeteer and that you put your hand up people's asses as well as puppets' asses, they would be like, hey. If they find out that you like fucking dudes, there is a history in this country, and not just history, even current history, where people have this false dichotomy of like, well, he likes fucking dudes. I'm sure he doesn't care if they're 12. And you're just like, no, that's not. I like fucking women. I don't like 12-year-old girls. Like, you know what I mean? So we can't just assume that because somebody
Gay
fucks,
marriage. What's
you know?
next? Marrying pedophiles and
Right.
kids.
Well, if he
Slippery
can marry a
slope.
man, I can marry a goat. You know what I mean? So I guess to me, it's important to clear the man's name unless something else comes out. But
Well, I don't know the full details of everything that just came out again. But
when the allegations originally came out, he said no. The boy was I was wrong about it. He wasn't 23. He was like
he's
19.
accusing
or something
pressure
like that.
he was
Yeah,
pressured.
he
to
at the
recant.
time, the day it was released, Kevin Clash didn't say, no, that never happened. I don't know that guy, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't do that. He said, no, he was 19.
So wait,
That was his original right off the bat. And then this guy came forth and said, okay, fine. Yes, I was 19 at the time or whatever. So, and he's 24 now. That's why I was saying it wasn't a 23 thing. So that's where it lends a little bit more credence. Had Kevin in all other cases where there's these kind of allegations, they'll go like, I don't even know that bitch or whatever the fuck.
Right.
He said, yeah, I knew him. Yeah, we fucked. Yes, by the way, P.S. I'm gay, which is a weird way for him to have to come out.
Right.
But so he admitted like 3 out of 4 of the things he was accused of.
I'm black also.
and
Still black.
Right. And the fourth thing is
wait. You serious, Dave?
he didn't.
You serious about this shit?
Yeah, son. Oh damn. Word. Shaolin
It's a
Temple,
shocker
B.
for people at home that are just listening and not watching.
Yeah.
If it didn't black it up enough, or fucking make fun of me for not being black enough on the show. So I guess that's the thing, is I feel like most of the time when people deny allegations, it's a lot of, I didn't even know that bitch.
It's a lot of
For him to admit,
protest too much.
yes, I knew him, yes, I fucked him, yes, I'm gay, all things that we all didn't know and didn't need to know, frankly,
Right.
then I'm willing to give the guy the benefit of the doubt that when he says, oh, he was 19 at the time, I'm willing to bet he was 19 at the time.
There's another. I was reading something
guess.
about the accuser, and I think there was something. I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but I think his mother may have stabbed his father.
Kevin Clash?
No, the accuser.
Oh, wow.
And I think that is. I'm not. I think that's a part of his family background, and he like swears that his mom's still a lovely person or whatever. so. But if it's not true, then I'll recant that, motherfucker, and then I'll recant the recant, and then the game will change.
Recanting in fourth dimension.
Yo, I heard you like recant, so we put a recant in your recant so you can recant while you recant.
Yeah, I
exhibit.
guess my thing is that I would think that, I mean, as
wait.
Kevin Clash was saying before, he's like, I'm not ashamed of being gay, but I just never thought it was
Well, I feel
important.
like a lot of
It's strange to me that he would choose this time to come out, because in every other allegation like this, they deny every piece of it, especially just from the outset.
Right.
Oh, also I'm not gay. Kevin was like, no, I'm gay. Yeah, I fucked him. Yeah, I knew him, etc., but he was 19.
Well, I feel like it's go ahead.
So I don't know.
Two questions. One, so this kid came said, "Oh, look, this
He's not a kid. Let's be very. We're talking about an adult male essentially. He's 24 years old now, right?
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
19 at the time of the relationship.
Yeah.
So for
Okay.
all intents and purposes,
So
he's
this-
not a child, and
this-
that's part of what Mitch's whole point is.
That's
The-
the
okay, the
entirety of my
parameters,
message.
the
Yeah, yeah.
parameters of the debate have got to be defined, and this is something I agree with you fully on, because it's part of the reason the country is where it is, with the fourth estate being filled with a bunch of shoddy stenographers and people who don't actually practice serious journalism.
Yeah.
Because serious journalism dictates that the headline is the fundamental crux of how the viewer is or the reader is going to take in
Sure.
the article, because
Sure.
that's the entry point. So
Exactly.
if the entry point is saying underage sex, Elmo, you're like, well, what? That's all I'm really gonna be thinking about. And if there's a bunch of details that contradict it, the only thing you're really focusing on is like, Elmo had sex with someone who was underage. That's the only thing really racing through your mind.
Right,
So then,
right.
if everything that we do now, we have to offset the sloppy. Gross
I will also, I'm also going to
malpractice.
say this. If it was so long ago that the dude was 16, 17 years old, then that's also a long time ago. And look, I fucked around with people that were underage when I was not of age, so I'll even let that slide.
okay."
This is not like he diddled an 11-year-old, okay? So let's just get that out of your head. If this guy pretended to have a fake ID, that's on him.
Okay, so my
Get
question.
Eric Hahn on here to talk about.
Everybody wants to fuck Elmo. I get
This.
it.
Eric wants me to say hi to you. By the
I
way.
missed that,
Shout
dude.
out to Eric Hahn. We're getting you on this show, Eric. We're gonna talk
Eric,
about Elmo.
I love you and I miss you. Okay,
I don't know who I do. I know him?
I just
think
heard what
probably
I
do.
just heard what Teddy said. So this kid comes out. I just did it, but yeah. So this kid comes out and he says,
Fella.
Okay,
This individual.
he touched me.
No. He said like he full on. We had sex. We had a sexual relationship.
so wait,
his
but
claim
hold on,
was
hold on.
I'm 16 and I had a relationship with Elmo when I was 16. Not Elmo,
Hey,
but
you
the guy
guys.
Kevin Clash. I had a relationship with him when I was 16 that was inappropriate.
Okay, and then apparently the kid said, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I was 19." Or has the dude?
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin
exactly,
Clash essentially
exactly.
deflated the sensationalism out of it.
Wait,
by
has- no,
saying-
He said all the things he said are true except for we didn't fuck around when he was 16. We did it when he was 19.
But is the kid sticking to his guns?
you can't keep
No.
calling him a kid.
I understand why. I understand the kid thing because he's
I'm
younger than
joking.
you, but and he's like,
Right.
let's be fair, you don't know anything till you're
Did the
30,
bro
so he's a
keep-
kid. But look,
Did the bro- is the bro staying to his
guy,
guns?
The guy. No, that's the whole thing. The reason I brought up this article is because he recanted and he said, all right, he's right. I wasn't 16 at the time. I was 19. And Teddy's saying that there might be a thing where he may have recanted the recanting.
Well, here's
whatever.
the
But the
details.
recantation was him saying, yes, Kevin was right. I was an adult when it happened. I wasn't 16.
And my second question is,
Okay.
why do you keep saying he's coming out? He's been gay. Who cares?
I'm with you.
So wait,
But-
why are you saying that he's coming out? I mean, it's not like that. Did his parents know that he was gay beforehand?
No, I'm not talking about the guy who accused him. I'm talking about Kevin Clash.
Right? Yeah, no, I know.
This is a public figure.
So?
And no, I'm fine whatever he wants to do. And I'm fucking and it's awesome.
fine with
he was
whatever he
wait,
wants to do.
He was
Well, I
was he
mean,
publicly
yeah,
out
if
before
it's-
this? Is that
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what's strange about it. He wasn't publicly out. That's why it's interesting to me that he's like, look, I'm not ashamed of that, but like nobody ever asked, and I didn't think it was
Yeah,
important.
you don't have to be publicly out.
But
Who gives a shit?
at the same time,
It's
no,
a big,
because
it's
that,
a big
that-
deal
it does,
for the
it
voice
does
of
matter.
Elmo to be
Yes.
publicly out, Dusty. It's
It
very
does
naive
matter.
to believe that that's not something. When people are still protesting Ellen being hired by J.C. Penney to be a spokesperson, it's pretty silly to act
That
like it doesn't. It's not
Protest
relevant.
had such
and it's
great
also,
sandwiches. They had little pinwheel sandwiches. Those bitches knew how to throw a protest.
The gays weren't protesting. The biggest were
matter.
protesting.
It does matter to some people that he's gay. And
guys
moreover,
can go fuck
yeah,
themselves.
I know, but moreover, this is a guy who talks to children, and there are some people who feel like
You're being very
if you're
reductive
gay,
right now.
if you're gay, you shouldn't be talking to our children. You definitely shouldn't be an icon. You shouldn't be controlling a character that's an icon for our children. There are people who think that. And so I think that Kevin Clash, for his own PR reasons, and I understand why he would do it, just was like, look, nobody needs to know who I fuck because it doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with my job or what I do with the children. When these allegations came out, if this were a Republican senator, he would not have admitted that he even knew a guy.
Well, no,
and Kevin Clash would have been like, and Kevin Clash said,
would have, but he would have never resigned. They would have
exactly.
Yeah, I fucking got my. It would have been like John Ensign, where he's like, yeah, I got my parents to pay off my fucking affair partner's husband so that I could buy him out of office. Yeah, you're damn right I did. Nope, not gonna resign. Fuck
who
you
was
guys.
Who was the
Fun
guy?
fact about John Ensign.
Who's
Very
the
good
guy,
at DVR.
Who was the guy that was that had the cabin boy?
The
You remember he had the cabin boy who like
Chris Elliott?
carried his luggage? Is
Oh
that the guy?
no, the Vatican guy.
No.
Did I just do a Chris Elliott
wasn't a
reference?
Is
senator.
it Chris Elliott? I think. No, wait. Chris Elliott's the guy from.
Cabin Boy.
He's
yeah,
the
cabin boy. No.
No, it wasn't a
I was
senator.
like,
It
wait a
wasn't a
minute.
senator. It was a religious guy.
Yeah, he was like a religious, but he was also.
think he was a senator.
Anyway, the point is that
But yeah,
he
yeah.
had the whole thing where he had like he would like take private trips and he'd bring along a guy to carry his luggage
Right.
because he had troubles with it or something, and he was like, "Why
like,
did you?
we can
Why
find
did
his
the two of you
profile on
stay
a
in a
male
hotel
escort
in the
set."
fucking
Yeah.
Maldives
Right.
if you're just?" He's just carrying your luggage. Anyway, the point is that what I'm saying is that Kevin Clash didn't say, "Oh, I don't know this guy." He didn't claim anything like that. He was basically
Okay.
forced out of the closet. But to his credit, he was like, do it up.
Here's what it's Sheldon
good.
Stevens is the name of the accuser.
Okay.
So
Big Bang. I love that show.
He is God. Look, can we just get through without the fucking? Can we just maybe? So
It
according,
occurs to me that I'm
it's-
given to understand.
it's
Yeah.
TMZ is claiming that he was pressured into recanting, and so there was a settlement for $125,000. In return, the agreement provides the following quote: Stevens agrees that immediately upon execution of this agreement, his counsel shall release the statement. He Stevens wants it to be known that his sexual relationship with Mr. Clash was an adult consensual relationship. So that's essentially what Kevin Clash. I'll pay you just say it was an adult consensual relationship, which is going to your point.
Exactly,
If listen,
exactly.
if I know what this is about.
Yeah.
It's a fucking shakedown.
Yes.
If we're going through from your perspective, it's a shakedown. I know how this goes. I've already got damage that I can't get back in.
Yeah, exactly,
You've blown it
exactly.
up. So fucking, what's your price?
And now the discussion, I guess, becomes: was there a truth that he was, and
Well,
then
he
he was
is-
paid to lie,
he's saying-
or is he saying, "Listen, tell people the truth, and I'll even pay you for it"?
This is TMZ
That's
is
the
saying
discussion,
that Stevens
basically.
met with attorneys in Los Angeles and told them he was pressured into recanting his allegations and insists he's telling the truth when he says he had sex with Clash when he was 16. Stevens is telling his lawyers he will gladly forfeit the $125,000 to restore his name. Says he was literally crying during the final negotiations and repeatedly said he didn't want to sign. But this is the thing, when I always hear these stories, is like,
Right.
well, why'd you sign?
Right.
You didn't have to sign. No one's forcing you. Like, you don't have to. You could, if your story is to the point that you've made it a national news story, which it is when you're going to accuse the person behind Elmo
Yeah.
of being involved with an underage sexual relationship. That's you know what you're doing.
Right.
You're surely not that delusional.
Well, now here's the thing that bothers me about the whole discussion is that I feel like we're not framing this as he had an underage sexual relationship, which, frankly, to me, not the biggest deal in the world. Still not kosher, but
How long was he Elmo?
not the biggest deal in the world. What I think the reason this was sensationalized is because he's gay. If this was him and some chick,
Gay black male, especially behind Elmo. I mean,
there
it's
you
very,
go. That's going to be that's now it's a story. Right. If it was just like two white people, male, female, straight, heterosexual relationship, I feel like we'd be like, hey, look,
I mean,
I've been there.
And I mean, I guess
but
this
like
is
for
the-
some
this is the
reason,
thing, too,
the
with-
amount of times that people said he had they said child sex scandal, and I'm like, no, listen, if the kid's 16, 17 years old and he I'm not saying that, like, yeah, I approve of fucking 16, 17-year-olds, but there are states in our own country where that's legal for you to marry and fuck.
Well, and I think this is the same thing where it's like the full context of Stevens struggling. The Smoking Gun identified him last week as a, quote, struggling 24-year-old model / actor
There you go.
who was once arrested for the knife point robbery of $250,000 in jewelry from a music manager for whom he interned.
Right.
What music manager's walking around with that much bling on his neck?
In 2012, I'm with you. All right?
Yeah, come on.
Who are you representing? Because I need a manager.
You've got to fucking fake it to make it, son. He's
I'm with you,
clearly
I'm
in
with
the
you.
fucking rap
And on
game.
top of that,
This is cubic zirconium, baby.
Yeah, right?
You don't want to be stealing this shit.
You think these dookie ropes come cheap, baby?
Yeah.
and then he's on the street. He's like, I'm just gonna walk down to the red box. I'll be right back, bitches.
Well,
But
he's interning for somebody.
Do either / both of you agree with me that if this were a heterosexual relationship, this would not come up? If it was a straight white heterosexual relationship where somebody banged a 16-year-old, do you think it would make this many headlines?
I think the other
would be
thing,
called a child sex scandal.
I think part of it is the fact that I think first and foremost, when I feel like, especially given the nature of the accuser and the accused,
Yeah,
you've
that's
got,
fair. That's fair.
And he's this model actor, and you've got this powerful. You've got this powerful man who may not be publicly powerful, but within that
Sure,
circle,
absolutely. I'll grant you,
privately
yes,
very
I will grant
powerful.
you that, yes.
Especially if he's gay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's a very somewhat closed world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so this is again where Eric Hahn would be.
He'd be an authority. Why didn't we just stick on video games?
We should Skype him in. But I mean, I guess my thing
I feel like I probably know him, but
I
the
feel
name
like
is, I don't get it. I don't know.
I feel like
4-year-old gay bald guy.
In this regard, I feel like first and foremost is like if you're robbing motherfuckers at knife point for jewelry, if you're in that
Yeah.
shakedown mentality,
Sure.
you're like, oh, okay, I hooked up with Elmo. Like
Yeah,
I hooked
yeah,
up with
yeah,
Elmo.
yeah.
Like it was
When I was 16.
right? Like
yeah, yeah.
you know, like I can I know what it's an easy fucking grift essentially, you know. And like let's say that if we take your perspective, right, and it's a shakedown, then essentially you've got $125,000 payday just to go away, you know, just
Yeah.
because like you had consensual sex and that's a thing that happened. And I think the thing that I find very skeptical is like the crying and all that, and how that will just get quickly spread on so many blogs. And it's that like, well, you like, why would you sign it if you're the one who's like got the momentum essentially?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to really stop it by recanting.
Yeah.
Essentially, if
Exactly.
you've got the truth on your side.
Yeah.
What how are you like?
And also, why come out afterwards?
Right. It's a very,
Why be
it's a
like, oh,
very
I suddenly
strange
don't
turn.
want that whole thing?
Right. It's a really strange turn, unless you feel like maybe you could have got more.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Because, like, what is this clear your name shit?
Right.
Nobody's saying that, like, oh,
Because- what do
nobody
you
was
think-
dragging that dude's name through the dirt the same way
Unless-
they were dragging, and certainly in comparison, nobody was dragging his name through the dirt the same way they dragged Kevin Clash's name through the dirt, and that's the
Well,
entire
unless you're
reason I
gonna
brought
get
this up.
more money for another interview or
Exactly,
something.
exactly.
So, but I mean, because if you sign the 125 and then you can't, I'm sure non-disclosures or whatever, so you're not going to go around selling your story to people.
Yeah.
If that is in the
Yeah, yeah.
So then you're trying to rescind that because you feel like you can make more money
Of course,
selling your interview to somebody.
but that's not the same thing as like I was accused of something.
yeah.
I mean, that's the tricky. I'll give you a quick. Not that this ever happened, but it's sort of a thing that I thought about years ago. Was that after the first show I ever did, I talked about my dick being pierced, and after the show,
As we all do.
there was
Yeah, I mean, I have 25 minutes on it.
Yeah, right. It just so happened that when I first started, the first show I ever did, prior to that, I was working at the Improv, and they had a class thing, and I showed up. I started late, like I missed the first week or two of the class. So when I showed up, they were like, "Oh, we had everybody write 1 minute on a topic that we gave them at random." And I was like, "Oh, I obviously missed that." And they were like, "Well, if you want to go up, we can just throw a topic at you and see how you do." And I was like, "All right." So I went up there and said, "Tell us about piercings." And I was like, "All right, I'll tell you about the time I got my dick pierced." And I tried to make it I tried to run through the details, and then they kept yelling questions, so I kept answering. So I ended up doing 5 minutes. And they were like, "You need to put that in your act." I was like, "I'm not going to spend 5 minutes of my act talking about my dick pierced." And they're like, no, just mention that you have it and use this line and this line. And I was like, all right, maybe. And they were like, "No, people will be fascinated by that." I thought, really? Because, all right. maybe I have too many friends that are freaks, or did. Anyway, so I didn't think it was much of a thing, but I mentioned it in my act. After the show, a woman had come up to me outside who was like, I need to see your dick. And I was like, excuse me? And she goes, I've just never seen a pierced dick. And I was like, oh, all right. She goes, yeah, we can just walk over here. I was like, all right. So I walked over to...
I'm liking the sound of this.
Yeah,
Turn
yeah.
the camera off for a second.
My Camry is around the block. Yeah. Follow me.
So I walked around
get
that.
Camry.
I walked around the corner. I pulled out. She goes, "Oh my god, that's fucking awesome!" And I was like, "Yeah, it's all right." And put it back. And then she just thanked me, kiss on the cheek, walked away. Her boyfriend was screaming mad. And my girlfriend.
Way to slip that detail in.
Well, I didn't know at the time. That's when I found out.
Beyonce was holding the camera, pissed as a motherfucker.
At this point,
Dumb bitch, motherfuckers.
I can't wait to watch this shit and just be mad.
I didn't know she had a boyfriend. She didn't mention that detail until we walked around the corner, and he was like, "Where were you? What were you doing?" And she's like, "Nothing." He was showing.
Hey, I thought you said you couldn't find the car, bitch.
She said
It's right
to him,
here where we parked it.
Oh, that's not even on Camry. I have a Kia, motherfucker. Come on, Yolanda. Damn.
I'm amused that you think that I would
Lucas,
walk. I'm
Lucas,
amused
stop.
that you think that I'm so embarrassed that I'd walk all the way to her car. No, I was outside of the Irvine Improv. I just turned to
No,
the
it
side.
was more of her, I feel like.
No. This was like
less your shame, more her
we're
strategy.
like standing in the line
She's
of the
got a
Irvine Improv. I
boyfriend
was
to
like,
throw off
hey.
the scent, Mitch.
So he was like, he was like, what were you doing? And she's like, I told you I had to see it. And he like looked at me, and I was like, I didn't even know. And then my girlfriend looked at me like, why the fuck did you? And she didn't really, whatever, fucking, who gives a shit, right? But many years later, a girlfriend of mine heard a girl ask me that after a show once, and I was like, you can just Google that shit, you know what I mean? And she goes, I'm glad you told her that. And I was like, why is that? And she goes, I just feel like at some point some woman's gonna ask you to do that, and then you're gonna be arrested for public nudity, and she's gonna be like, oh my god, he pulled his dick out and tried to shove it in my face and all this different stuff. And I started to think about that, and I was like, oh my god, no more. I'm not doing that anymore, because like that's totally what happened with the first girl. Like I totally just whipped my dick out in public.
I've been there, man.
After a girl was like, I wonder what that looks like pierced.
It's a frustrating thing,
Right? And so it's one of those
I've
things
had a
where
situation.
if I were suddenly accused, I'm sure you can relate to this,
No,
Eddie, because we've talked about this.
I've been
Is like
there.
the thing that I think a lot of men that live with is this fear that at some point some woman's gonna, and it's very rare, but the media makes us think that it's not that rare. That fear that someone's going to be like, he raped me. And
It's
you're
not
like,
a fear. It's happened to me. It literally happened to me in college. I hooked up
Okay,
with
go
someone
ahead.
as a sophomore, all right, in the throes of depression, not caring about
What was she?
myself.
Was she a
Do
junior?
not worry
let
about
him
it,
let him
sir.
tell the
Don't
story.
even
Let him tell
worry
the story.
about it,
Please
son.
tell the story.
Don't even
Please,
worry about
please.
it.
I'm fascinated.
It doesn't matter. We're in
Go
college.
into this. Go ahead.
Okay, so we hook up,
Shush.
and it's just a lot of just drunk sloppy making out. Really, do you know what I mean? And I had to wake up. It was during the big Monon Bell weekend, right? It's like a big party weekend.
What's a Monon Bell?
It's a rivalry football
Go ahead.
game. It's
Just-
one of the
I don't
oldest
even
rivalry
care.
footballs
I don't
in
know why I
fucking
asked.
America.
I don't know why
Run
I
tell
asked.
that
You shush, man.
ESPN.
I don't know why I asked.
What up, HDNet?
Dusty, be quiet.
Listen,
Let's do this.
So
All right, go ahead.
it's just
I'm not gonna
fucking
ask you more questions.
A fucking drunken hookup as happens on those nights, right? And we're just like making out, and I'm just like, oh, this is like, I'm like, it's one of those situations as it's happening, you're like, I am throwing my life away. I have to be up at 6 o'clock to call a fucking football game for the radio station. Like that's how early I had to be up, and this was at like 3. Do you know? So I was like, shit, like I should really be sleeping. I have to save my voice. I'm not you, Mitch. So don't make that skeptical
okay.
face.
Sorry.
Okay. From a logical perspective, please don't look at me with your penis
Sorry,
right
just
now.
nothing matters anymore.
Yeah,
to me.
I know.
Sorry. Okay.
Anyway, so like at some point we're just like making out or whatever. It's just like heavy petting essentially.
Sure.
Nothing like no penetration, nothing anywhere close, right? And she just at one point she's like, I think I'm gonna go, and I'm like, that's probably a good idea, and just like instantly go to sleep. I was so just like by that point like drunk and passed out that one of my friends had to like break into the fraternity house and like come into my room and wake me up because she's like, I know you're not gonna wake up on time. I'm going to drag you out to the car. Like I know I was at the fucking diner, just like give me some fucking biscuits. Like I just like shoved them in, and then like by the time we got to the stadium for the game, like it's fine. Do you know what I mean? Called the game. Everything was good, recovered. This girl went on to start telling people that I tried to force myself on top of her and like put a condom on and was like trying to like force myself in. And I was like, I don't even own condoms. I don't even fucking own. I've never even bought a box of condoms at this point in my life. I'm like, the fuck is going on here? Telling that shit. I walk into the house at one point, like a fraternity house, and she is talking to people and like happens to mention that to people. And I'm like behind her. I'm like, you want to run that by me again? And she like freaks out and gets all flustered and shit, and then goes off. This girl, it got to the point actually that my ex-college girlfriend, happened to be like rooming with her as a perspective, and told her that I tried to force myself on top of her. So when I like first saw this girl, I was like, hey, let's go up to my room because my people are like trying to take a picture of us waking out in the stairwell, and she was like, I know what all about you, like I know, like freak out on me. Because this bitch ran around telling people I tried to force myself on top of her. It's like, and that shit she was so casual about it. Right. Like it was the most casual, effortless thing she fucking did.
That is definitely a one of the biggest fears men have. What I say by the media thing, not to downplay your point by any means, is that the difference I'm talking about is this girl sort of telling her friends that you were forcing yourself on her versus her going to the media, not the cops, the media.
The fact that I can relate to it is that it's one of those fucking small campuses, so it's just fucking
exactly,
it's just wildfire. Exactly. You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is that what doesn't happen as often as the media might make it seem is that a woman goes through all the trouble of and it's that's the difficult thing, because in our society, I don't want it to be difficult or shameful for a woman to say, hey, I was raped. I don't want anybody to fucking put the onus on her to prove that she's not a slut.
Well, you make it difficult for any woman that you care about.
So for all the women who, and it's very few women who would lie about a rape case. Statistically,
you devious ass bitches.
Those women are the worst kind of fucking people, because you made it fucking easy for actual rapists to rape.
You make it easy for them every day.
Because actual rapists are getting away with rape because the women who go to report it are called liars because of women who lie about rape, which is unfortunate. And I don't have a solution, unfortunately, for that.
Stop lying, you crazy bitches.
Well, yes. I'm saying lying. From a legal perspective, I don't
for that one segment of the problem, if we can just fucking fix on that, stop lying, son. Yeah. Stop lying.
Just admit to yourself.
Have some fucking integrity.
Like, hey, I probably maybe went further with this guy than I might have been if I was drunk, but that's not his fault. That's mine.
Right.
Whatever. But if something fucking serious happened, I want you to be taken seriously. Right. Unfortunately, there are a few cases that get blown out of proportion, and I'm not talking about your case, but there are cases, and that's the first thing that most people jump to. What if she's lying? And I don't want it to be that way. It shouldn't be that way.
I had no friends. Every time I try and talk about like rape or sexual assault, there's always a male friend without fail who's like, bitches be lying. And I'm like, yes, we know, but damn, it does not negate the larger problem.
Exactly.
And I know firsthand how that fucking shit is infuriating. I get it. But like that is what we're saying.
But to
the ladies of Riffopolis, please, if you know a friend who's a scheming ass trifling bitch like this, regulate. Do a favor for everyone.
Yes.
Both men and women who care about people who have to suffer the trauma of people who've been raped and deal with sexual assault, because it's a lifelong struggle. Okay? So do not make it harder for us to heal people, which is what you do. Because I swear to God, if I ever find out that you're doing that shit, I will burn everything you care about to the ground. You can call me Bane. Run, tell Dat.
I'm glad you brought up Bane.
No one cared who he was before he put on the headphones. I had to get a word in. That was a Teddy Mitch moment there.
I'm sorry. I noticed, like, off the side, Jesse's like, I got nothing.
During that segment, I've been told to shut up twice. So I was
sorry.
3 strikes and I'm out.
I literally, it's just because you were like making the early joke, and I was like, oh God, I know this is gonna go.
I was gonna make jokes no matter what.
You understand that I spend 2 hours at least a week doing this with Teddy over the last year and a half, and it's like for 83 episodes or so that he's been on, 84, something like that. Several hundred hours. Well, almost in the several hundred, over 160 hours at least with this guy. And I know when he's like, I'm going to tell a story, and if people are like, I'll make a quick joke, like I know how the story gets derailed, and I'm like, no, wait, I want to hear this. Because also, it's rare that he tells a story I don't already know.
I want to apologize for my Bane impression. That was more Zoidberg than Bane.
pretty
I was
solid.
on the fly. I had to get
you
it
ready?
in.
All right, I'll do it. No one cared who he was before he put on the headphones.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Can I get a soda out of you?
We'll do that.
I like that. I like
Put
that.
that on the board.
I thought Bane was a better villain than Joker.
We're almost out of time. We got
partial
about
to Bane
because of the
Wait,
weird
what'd you say?
audio issues we got.
What'd you say?
I said I'm partial to Bane myself. Mitch knows.
I mean,
Yeah.
the
Take
better
Dr.
the better
Love.
actor goes to Joker, but the better villain goes to Bane.
Fair.
That's my 2 cents.
You know, here's the thing. It does depress me when people who are talented die early, especially because not only just the obvious, like, oh, they were very talented, I'm sad, I'm not going to see more of them, but the other side of it is that it's upsetting because there are people who will go, well, were they that talented or did they just die soon? Like, it upsets me that people call to question both Mitch Hedberg and Patrice O'Neill, and for that matter, Richard Jeni, as not as brilliant as they were because they died early. And I'm like, please don't do that. Please don't. You know,
Don't even try and touch
don't
the
even
Hedberg.
don't
even
touch
try
him.
it.
Don't. And really, and Richard Jeni, I was genuinely a fan of before he died. I
I might
listened
be
to his
confused.
albums. He was really
he
good.
the one that committed suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
wanted
And
to make sure I
Patrice
had the right
O'Neill,
guy.
I mean, I don't need to say anything. That was recent enough that people can still remember how brilliant he was in the modern era. Whereas Mitch Hedberg, it's been a few years, so
One of the greatest
there are
writers
some people
ever.
who are delusional enough to think like, oh, no, he was overrated. And I'm like, no,
One of the-
sorry.
just a
He's
fucking
fucking
tremendous-
goddamn and brilliant.
I was never a
Craft
fan.
joke.
I mean, I was
Alright.
just never a fan.
I get it, I get it.
Post or pre-death.
So my
know what that
thing
would
about
really mean.
like, and that's the thing is that's the way I feel about Heath Ledger. I didn't know his body of work very well. I can't think
Knight's
of
Tale, son.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Bitches
I didn't
love a
see.
Knight's
I don't think I saw.
Bitches get wet on Knight's Tale.
There's two
Oh,
things
yeah.
bitches loves: smiley faces and a Knight's Tale.
You forgot. There's three. There's three.
What's that?
There's three. Smiley face,
Yeah.
Knight's Tale, and a notebook.
Notebook.
There you go.
Okay, all right.
Now, if Ryan Gosling would have died,
With a puppy on top.
woo, boy,
That's what we call a bitch Sunday. That is hilarious.
That's what we call Mid Sunday. It's gonna have to
go ahead. Feel free to put that in your act later. A bitch Sunday.
That's what we call a bitch
That
Sunday.
board has never been that filled
Wow,
up. It's good.
It's been a hot minute.
That was good.
You might have been late, motherfucker, but at least
Dusty,
you
it's
showed
all
up
good.
with something good.
I would tip your glass, but you don't have one.
You may have
You
broke
Dusty
every
needs a
equipment we
something.
have.
Dusty
Yeah.
needs a something.
Give him a- here,
I don't
thank
know
you,
what he
thank you.
needs. Bottle of water or something. Anyway, yeah, I wasn't as enthralled with Heath Ledger. I liked the Joker, the character.
You just can't
as a
see
bad
it.
guy, he is better than Bane in an ethos, like as a character, as a persona, better than any character.
See,
he's the best villain I think there is imaginable.
Joker, best character or best character ever?
Because here's the thing about Joker that I like, and I like it in the Batman thing, is that Joker knows Batman won't kill, and he exploits that. And also, Joker is insane enough where he doesn't ever want to actually kill Batman.
Right.
If given the chance, Joker would never kill
He's
Batman.
literally found his dream job.
Right. He's
Yeah.
like, this is great. This guy will never kill me, and I don't want to kill him because it's too much fun.
And if you want to reference that, go to the Killing Joke.
Yeah,
a comic book
exactly.
series called The Killing Joke, where
Yes.
I don't. There's no
He
spoilers.
specifically mentions that. Yes.
Right.
We both read it. It's okay.
It's. I liked it. It's what Alan.
I think you've read it. I lent it to you. You still have my copy.
I think I do, yeah.
You have like 7 of my books and like 4 DVDs, so it's cool.
I got
Oh,
like 2
shit.
DVDs,
All right.
3 wallets.
6 books
but
and a computer or 2.
the same guy that did V for Vendetta and did
Alan Moore.
Thank you. That's who I'm thinking of. Did the
Yeah,
Laughing
yeah.
Joke.
And the Killing Joke. It was.
Killing Joke.
It's a great.
Shake that
And
happy
I'm not
time.
even a comic book fan, but I bought that one and I was like, I was fucking in fun. And that's the whole thing. That's why he's a good villain, because not only does he know his enemy, but he appreciates and respects his enemy enough to
Sun Tzu
not
would
fuck
approve
him up.
of the Joker.
Oh yeah.
I
So that's
like-
why Joker's a better everything. But the thing is that, and no disrespect to Heath Ledger, I think he did a phenomenal job as the Joker. But also, I guess the thing is that I don't feel like
villain of all time.
I don't feel like it's as difficult to just play psychotic as it is to play scary evil the way that Bane was. Like, I feel that Bane had the psychotic evil, but also mastermind genius thing that
tell you
Joker
this.
had going for him, but also
Have you read
he
those
didn't
interviews?
give a fuck.
Have you read the interviews of Heath Ledger after when he talks about that process for the
Where
Joker?
he locked himself in a
when he
hotel
says
room.
like when he talks about the psychosis that just overcomes
Right,
him, it's
right.
the most depressing shit in the world, son. Like if I read that interview, like if I was like a fucking editor and that interview came to me, I'd be like, damn, this dude is gonna die soon.
drug overdose in his apartment.
Oh my god, this is sad.
Okay, no, I agree. The acting job he did better, but okay, and this is my 2 cents about it is that Bane, up until about the last 10 minutes, was the fucking best. He was and that's what Bane was supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Bane is supposed to be methodical. Like,
the other thing
the
is
equal
that
to
I think
Batman.
the other thing is that I loved the Joker in advance, and a lot of people
Oh.
did. Yet Bane, I knew nothing about, and even comic book people were like, Bane, why did he pick that fucking
You know
clown?
what? And I think that's why I'm
And that's
partial
why
to
I kinda
Bane
like
is
Bane.
because I feel like it kind of ties very similarly to what Chris Nolan's whole approach was with the third movie, which was like, I'm not even gonna do this motherfucker.
Right,
first
right,
of all,
right.
like you better fucking throw some real good shit at me, and then. I mean, I knew Bane from both like the cartoon.
I give you more
and-
credit for like uncheesying something
Right.
than keeping it.
Right,
and the
because
Joker
Bane was
is
just
sort of easy.
I was like, well, Bane might be interesting because he is just like methodical beast. But then when you like actually saw the execution of it, and not only that, but like what he took from the mythos of not just the Batman comics, but sort of the whole DC universe with the idea of the whale as the
Oh,
prison and
that
stuff.
pissed me off. That pissed me off with that whole mythos thing. That movie, to me, the are we getting on this? Is it gonna be a 2-on-1? Is this gonna be?
No.
Am I gonna be airtight? With
I'll
this
be.
bitch?
Look, let me just tell you right now, for anybody listening to Straight Riffin, if you haven't noticed in the past, I am generally partial. Teddy is vehemently on a given side. I'm generally partial. If there's a guest vehemently on the other side, I try to be a
the
medium. I will often agree with Teddy, but I'll let the other person speak. If
It's about to be the end of Sandlot. I hope you got your running shoes on, motherfucker.
there was a discussion on this podcast that may have never made it to air because I think it might have been a bonus episode because I couldn't find it in the actual episode that we had with a guest who was pro-life, and I'm vehemently pro-choice. Teddy was angrily pro-choice. I let the guest talk, then let him know he was wrong while Teddy was screaming his head off about the guy. I'm generally in the middle here.
Text
I'm not
me, dog. Text me. Okay, but
Doug Fager. Go ahead.
here's my okay. With the whole mythos behind it, number one, for Chris Nolan to bring out Talia, it's just like, skeet, I can do whatever I want. That's balls. But the thing that I hated about it,
To be fair, I've never read the comic book, so I don't know how ballsy that is.
she is such a minor character. I'm
But
trying.
I mean, like Bane again. It's not like Bane is some sort of like mainstream
I've
Batman
never heard of him
villain.
before in my
In terms
life.
of Batman villains, Bane is towards the very bottom. Certainly not one that you're going to bring out to end a trilogy with.
There's the top. There's,
Yeah,
the, there's the
Penguin,
top four.
Freeze, all
And
those.
again, and I feel like that argument runs counter to what Nolan attempted to do with the entire trilogy, which started with the Scarecrow as the first villain. So you're not really going to get the mainstream Batman
Yeah,
treatment.
I'd never heard of the Sandman. I heard of Catwoman, of course. Penguin, definitely heard of Penguin. I'd heard
Dr.
of the
Zhivago?
Riddler.
Mr.
I've heard of
Freeze.
Mr. Freeze,
but
the Riddler,
if you look in the
Catwoman,
comics-
and Joker, of course.
Right.
Those are the four. And I don't read comic books. I wasn't a huge Batman fan. My knowledge of Batman is pretty much. I can remember when the Tim Burton did his thing. And
Wait,
then I can remember after that, because I was way into Batman because of that movie, I remember watching the TV show and going, this is fucking cheesy as shit. But that's when I learned about some of the other characters. And then I remember Batman 2 and being wildly upset by it. And then now as an adult, I can kind of appreciate it in its own cheesy form. And that's it. That's all I know. Like, I never read anything beyond that. So
in the Batman
just letting you
universe,
know.
there's four really main ones, really big
Did I
ones.
name them all?
Joker,
Okay, got
Catwoman, Riddler, and Penguin.
Yeah.
Those are the
ones I
four.
named. Okay.
And then there's the B ones where I would kind of consider them kind of like all on the same level, which is Mr. Freeze, Bane,
Right.
Sandman, Scarecrow, There's
Now, prior
Clayface.
to the Nolan movies, would you have put Sandman and Bane in those or not?
I would put Bane a little bit above. Bane and Mr. Freeze are kind of up there. I want to take them out of Batman and Robin, which was a masterpiece, by the way.
I mean,
the only thing
I'm
that made
just-
that
I'm
better
just
was
curious.
Kevin James.
I'm just curious because it's weird to me that they never mentioned
Callback.
Bane to any other ones. But all right, go
no,
ahead.
but Bane in the comic books, he was the first person. Joker couldn't do it. Was the first person.
Bane was in Bane was in the Schumacher movies with
That's-
Poison Ivy.
That's true.
To
That's
get him
true.
out of
The
that.
fucking,
That was
like,
But I
terrible.
mean, that's what Nolan went against. I mean, Nolan
Yeah.
that's your perception
Yeah,
of Bane.
he had to fight that.
And that doesn't even
did.
exist in the cultural psyche anymore. Nolan didn't fight it so much as he was like, oh, that's your Bane? Fuck you. This is your Bane.
Right. That's what he should have done.
If Nolan had gone
That's
the
what he
cheesy,
did.
if
No,
if
no.
Nolan
Yes,
he did.
if Nolan wanted to go the easy route, he would have just had Batman and Joker for 3 movies.
but
That would have been it. Because frankly, everyone like even Tim Burton's Batman, as cheesy as it was with the Prince songs and
by the
everything
way,
else.
the fact that he shot down the bat plane with a gun, watch that again. Batman is shooting at the Joker in Tim Burton's one. He's shooting at the Joker. Joker's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He pulls out a long gun and goes, "Poof," and Batman's like, "Oh shit, going down!" like that. It is horseshit. But
Right.
okay, this is my main
And
beef.
and even then, Joker didn't try to kill Batman, which is, everybody killed everybody in that movie.
This is my main beef with Christopher Nolan's. Outside of, so there's some other things too. The Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight, amazing. I even loved Batman Begins because I
What
just
do you
thought
mean you even loved? That was a fucking
it
phenomenal
was a
movie.
great one. Yes.
Why are you acting like you're doing that movie a favor?
Yeah, like I wouldn't have given a fuck about the trilogy if Batman Begins wasn't
My
phenomenal.
dollars are Kevin James dollars. Okay, let's get some real shit on this.
You can take those loonies and toonies and go back.
Kevin
and
James
forth.
could have been the fucking Penguin if
And
they
I
made a
would
fourth
love-
one.
Yeah. And here's my beef with it: is that Bane had a plan
David
the whole
Spade
time.
is Bruce Wayne.
Adam Sandler is
David Spade is
Commissioner
Joker.
Gordon.
Bruce Wayne.
Alfred.
You can do it. Go get him, Batman. Is that Bane had a plan the whole time,
punch a guy
and he does this plan the whole time,
Right.
and then at the very end, when she sticks the knife in him, if you haven't seen it now, go fuck yourself, and sticks the knife in him, and she goes, "This was my plan the whole time. I'm going to kill you in honor of my father." It resorted Bane back to a goon doing someone else's
Absolutely.
job.
I'll grant
And
you that, yes.
That is not Bane from the comic books. That is Bane from Joel Schumacher. That's what I fucking hated about
here's
it.
my counterpoint. Here's my counterpoint because I'll agree with you. I'll agree that they sort of at the very end made Bane kind of whatever, but it was in the last few minutes. My counterpoint to that is that Bane was like wounded and dying and bleeding out, and it's obvious that he's not gonna like get taken to the hospital and stitched up and shit.
Right.
And Talia's no fucking medical professional, so he's like, I've got almost nothing left. Like, there's not a lot I can do here. And so she's like, listen, just so you know, I'm going to take care of this dude. You know what I mean? That's basically the way I take it. Is that, like, she was telling Bane, like, I'm going to take care of him. I've been on that plan all along, but I wanted to give him a little hope, which is the whole thing with Bane. The reason Bane
Here's why I
didn't,
feel like you're missing.
Bane
I feel
didn't
like-
kill
I
Batman
feel
because
like-
he was like, I want to give this guy a fighting chance because I love
No,
to watch his
she-
hope die.
That is
Yeah.
the whole point. But I guess I feel like this is partially what you miss about the Bane character, and it's one of my favorite scenes.
I love how this turned into a nerdcast. It's
but
awesome.
it's
Video games,
right
Batman,
before
it's
the
awesome.
football
Elmo.
stadium scene, as the national anthem is being sung, and there's this very odd juxtaposition
lovely
to everything
voice.
you get from Bane, and then you get that, and then as soon as he says that, he's handed a detonator. It's without missing a fucking beat. Oh, look, a moment of humanity, gone. Blink of an eye. So I feel like you miss the nuance that Nolan instills in Bane to set up the ending that you so glibly discard.
I know.
No,
I see
here's
what you're saying.
I'll
I see
give you.
what you're
I'll give you
saying.
another counterpoint to Teddy's point. Is that if you look
Oh, he
back at
recants it.
if you look no.
I
if
just,
you-
I just want to say recant.
if good, fair enough. In the Dark Knight, Joker has that moment where he's talking with Maggie Gyllenhaal at the party, where you think you're going to find out about the scars, and he starts sounding like he's like gonna tell something serious, and he's like, "Here's what happened with my wife," whatever, and that's all lost almost in a second. And then on top of that, he talks later. He tells an entirely different story where
that
you're
was
like,
before.
whatever.
Yeah.
The point is that like either of these stories, it's clear that there is no like good story. There's no like he hasn't really like learned anything. This is not like he doesn't have any like he's not he doesn't go like, oh, here's the source of my pain. My father was a real drinker, or like here's the source of my pain. My wife was
or
kind
maybe
of
that every single one of those things is true.
Yeah, or
I have such an
but
infinite
either one of those,
Right.
but either one of those could you can't do both.
Right.
It gave him the scars.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he took the time to like give this like speech and it's like, oh, now you can relate to me, and then it's like, no, but not really, because I'm just fucking with you.
Because I'm gonna murder you.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be real, bitch. I'm gonna murder you.
Is kind of the same thing with Bane's whole thing. You know what I mean? Where it's
But
like
how?
he doesn't have a necessarily a backstory. At the very end, like in the sort of reverse, they sort of try to give him a backstory where he's like, it sort of seems like, oh, well, this is why he's remote.
He's the guardian. He's the
trying
goon.
to guardian.
It's not a goon.
Yeah, it's sort
Ow!
of no, but it sort
You're
of
the
seems
guardian.
like that.
You are the
It
guardian of the
seems like
whole-
that. But once again, if he was truly just a guardian, angry motherfucker, he would have killed Batman.
And the
but
whole-
he specifically didn't.
No,
and the
no,
reason
he tried. He tried.
No.
But then Catwoman came in and blasted him with his gun.
No. Because he broke his fucking back, and he
Yeah.
said, "I wonder what would break first, your spirit or your body."
Yeah.
And then he intentionally took him to the fucking prison and flew him, apparently.
Sorry for all
Got
the
him on a
spoilers,
goddamn
Michael.
plane, brought him to the fucking prison to tie him up and said, "You're going to have to figure your way out of this." He could have right then slashed Batman's throat in front of everyone, and they'd have been
son,
like, whatever.
Let's not pretend like we don't know that Bane don't give a fuck about murdering people in front of a mass audience.
True.
That's
who,
true.
Who are you, doctor? Thank
Yeah.
you. Snap,
Yeah,
son. I
exactly.
giggle uncontrollably when I see that because it's so funny to me because it's so casual. That's
Yeah.
who he is.
No, he does it
I don't
more-
give a fuck. So if I'm going to say...
My favorite part is
now, if I'm
when he,
Bane
like
and
in the
I
very
save your
beginning,
life-
Bane's standing there in the sewers, and he's like, "And because of your actions, you killed 3 people." And he goes, "No, because we didn't kill this guy." And he's like, "I just killed one, all right?" And he's like, "And now you're gonna kill someone else, but I'm gonna kill you in pursuit of him."
Right.
And that's where he goes, "Because of your actions, 3 people will have died." And he goes, No, he's not dead. And he shoots one guy.
If he was...
And then he goes, and then he takes Gordon. It's killing me. Gordon throws him over the fucking thing and says, "Now find
Gordon-
him."
no, Gordon
Oh, yeah,
escapes.
Gordon was already. He goes, "So you got to go find him." And he goes, "Oh, he's down in the thing." And he goes, "Well," and he puts the thing on him. He says, "Well, then find him." And he goes, "Well, how am I supposed to?" Shoots him, throws him over the fucking thing, which is like those are the 3 people he just talked about, and that's where
if
that's
you
where Bane
establish-
is fascinating
if you
because he's like,
establish-
here's exactly what I'm gonna do to you, and they're like,
Look,
yeah,
I
but
know
you're
we
not
gotta wrap
gonna,
up.
and then he just does it.
Say this is my... What are you going to say?
Go
Then
ahead.
I'll go.
But no, this all I agree, and this all is to the character of Bane.
Right.
Just doing stuff just mercilessly. It's to the plan. He's the opposite of Joker. Joker's kind of like, oh, free willy, chaos ensues. But Bane is this, and this. And the fact that all that happened, you're like, oh, this guy is so fucking badass. And then she goes, it's all my plan all along, Batman. I'm going to kill you, Bruce Wayne.
Except I submit to you, I know we got to wrap up, but I will submit to you that if you establish that Bane is one step ahead constantly and this methodical beast, what are the last words he says to Batman?
Isn't he gonna doesn't he pull like a shotgun on his head? and
What are
says he's
the
gonna kill
last
him?
words that Bane says to Batman?
I don't know the exact words,
don't
but the
remember
basic sentiment is
I broke you.
no. The
No.
basic no.
No,
the
that- didn't he
basic.
say I-
Hold
doesn't he
on.
say I
The
break
basic
you?
sentiment. The basic sentiment was it's a shame, basically, that she doesn't get to watch you die.
Oh, right.
Because
That was his
she
basic
wants him
sentiment.
to stay around
But
for
doesn't
the
he
nuke
say
to go
I-
off.
Because
Doesn't
she
he
says
say-
she
doesn't he
says
say
I'm
to
gonna
Ba-
oh yeah she says I'm gonna let off the nuke, and he says I don't want to wait that long or something.
and he's about to
something
kill
that's
her.
the
Kill him.
sentiment. It's like basically I'm gonna kill you. We're all gonna die. Whatever. It's a shame that you're not gonna see
Then
everything.
Catwoman rolls
destroyed.
in,
Yeah.
and then he says something else. He says, I broke you.
No,
Doesn't he?
no. He
that-
just dies. The moment she rolls in, she blows his head
you
off.
said.
No, absolutely. I've
No,
watched that
that's
movie
when they're
100
fighting.
times.
That's
now.
when they're fighting. He goes, "I broke you." Yeah, that's when he's impossible.
I
Yeah,
thought
because
he
he
said-
sees the because Batman
when he
spends his
sees
whole
him in
time.
the yeah
I
when
thought
the
that- I
cops
thought
come
that was
out
the
when the
second
cops
time that
come
he said
out
it.
and the big fight comes
No,
out
no, I know what
and
you're
then
talking
and then he looks at Bane and Bane looks at me and he's like I broke you. And that's when he and Bane start fighting.
And that's
what
another
you're
thing
talking
I
about.
don't like. Batman comes back from this mysterious well, and he's like, I gotta paint the bridge. And he paints this whole bridge in gasoline just so he can have this awesome bat symbol.
I'm with you. There's a lot
of incongruity.
There's a lot of weirdness in that film, but I'm gonna let that slide because a lot of movies do that. A lot of like big action, stupid movies. And once again, I will give Chris Nolan this benefit of the doubt, but he made it as realistic as he could. If you look at every Batman TV show, film, animated series, you name it, you give them all every benefit of every doubt. They're absolutely fucking ridiculous on their surface.
Watch The Dark Knight Returns. That is fucking masterful. That is a comic.
I'm just saying that Chris Nolan.
Is that a view?
But even
straight to DVD.
Yeah, I know it's animated thing.
It's really good.
I know. I'm not downplaying that. I'm merely saying that Christopher Nolan did a phenomenal job in making it realistic enough to where you will suspend that disbelief. I don't think that people in the theater like leaned over their date and goes, "There's no way he's gonna paint a fucking bat symbol in the fucking building right now."
Right.
Like you'll say that afterwards, sure.
But fuck yeah, League of Shadows symbolism.
But like,
suck on that, Bane.
To your point earlier about Tim Burton's Batman, when Joker pulls out the big gun and he shoots down the Batwing. Like, you might have leaned over to your date. I was not old enough to have a date at the time when I wanted that in the theater, but like, no, you weren't. You were 4.
Nope.
At best.
Mom,
no, you were your parents. Your
Lactation.
parents. In fact, your parents probably saw that film on a first date. Actually, but anyway, my
out
point
a big gun to shoot down a plane makes me want to copulate.
Hey, Lois.
Yeah.
Okay.
My point is, we gotta end this. My point is, at the point that Joker pulled out the big gun to shoot down the Batwing, you may have leaned to your date and like, there's no way that gun would actually take down that. I don't care how long you make the barrel, because that has nothing to do with the caliber of bullet that you're shooting the Batwing with, and unless that's a nuclear bullet that you can fit into a 44 caliber,
National Geographic.
then you're fucked. So I will give Christopher Nolan a lot of benefit of the doubt. I'm with you in some regard, but the point that he painted the bat symbol was him telling Gotham, "Hey, listen, you don't need to worry. I'm back." He didn't. Bane, who is taking over this entire city, did not destroy me, so you don't need to worry about him destroying you. That's the point of the bat symbol. Bam! Whoo! All right.
Nolan has the Pixar effect. I just gotta say this last word.
That's
Nolan
fine.
has the Pixar effect in that now whatever
Tells good stories.
Until Cars
tell
2.
stories about cars that talk.
Until Cars
that
2.
They tell such good stories that if they do something that's below their own standard, which for anybody else would have been a fucking amazing movie, everybody critiques them. It just sucks for him.
I don't think that he would see it
that's
your
to
way.
it. But wait, that's
He's
to
done
it.
the Pixar effect.
I don't think he would think that The Dark Knight Rises
you just
is below
paid him
his
the
standard.
greatest compliment because that's to his credit. Because if anybody else made shitty movies, you'd let all the mistakes go because the movie is so shitty. Nobody sits around and critiques Mr. Deeds as long as anybody's ever critiqued The Dark Knight Rises.
You have not heard a Silly Boys podcast. Good, sir.
Is that your podcast?
Deeds
Well,
and
on that
Flubber.
note, Dusty, where can
Well,
the
we're
people
about
find you?
we're to the point where you have to plug your own shit.
shameless
So
plug.
tell me,
Okay, I got
please, where can the people find you?
It's sillyboys.com. That's SILLYBOYZ. Because we ghetto. .com. And we basically
I mean, I don't feel like you're. All right, go ahead.
Silly Boys. And we just talk about that. And I'm also starting up a new podcast.
Number 41.
We're up to
What do you do this weekly? How often do you do this?
Weekly.
Really?
And we
You've
actually,
been so you're telling me for the past year you've been doing a podcast.
we mix a couple. Yes.
Okay.
We mix a couple strange ones in there. What we do
There was
sometimes,
a lot of stuff I wanted to get into with you on this podcast about in the early days of our podcast, but I don't have time for it now.
Well, we used to do segments. We try to do
No,
segments.
I'm not
when we had
talking about
Sam.
your podcast now. I'm talking about back in the day when we had our podcast. There was reasons I was given. I don't know if they're true, but I was given reasons for why you didn't do our podcast.
Oh, no.
Yeah, all right.
But no. I want to hear these reasons now. I'm curious.
We've got
Go.
to wrap up the show. Why would you
Sorry.
introduce this,
Fuck
Miss?
this noise.
mean,
Okay.
I'll make it
Silly
very
Boys.
quick.
We
Go
do
ahead.
we do a bunch of different ones. We do a bunch of
doing that
different
to
ones
me.
where we do like laugh tracks where we watch a movie and just riff on the whole movie.
I like those.
We've done Broken Arrow.
I wanted to do that
We did
for as well.
RoboCop 2. So we do good movies. We also do Word of the Night, where it's an improv comedy show. So
If
we do a
you
bunch of
ever
different
do
ones.
Dark Knight Rises,
Dude, that's like 2.5 hours.
me and Teddy are going to be there.
I'll promise you guys that. You guys, we'll do a abridged version, just because.
What's wrong with 2.5 hours?
Dude, it is.
Have you ever been on a road trip?
trying to do
Podcasts.
jokes on a movie for 2.5 hours?
Oh, well, dude, what do you think this podcast is? We've been on here for 2.5 hours, even though we lost a bit of it because of the audio issues. But even still, you have been here now for 2.5 hours.
And then the Geektastic podcast is what I'm starting up. It's all geek news. We're gonna have like scientists and NASA people up in there.
So you wouldn't do ours, but now you got 2 podcasts.
I'm doing
All
yours.
right, no, that's right. It's
Okay,
cool.
why?
It's fine.
What were these reasons? I'm sorry, Teddy.
No, we're gonna wrap up the show. Talk off air. Jesus
SillyBoys.com,
Christ.
sillyboys with a
with you?
Z.com. Do you have your own website? Where can people find you?
Dusty
Have
Comedy.
your conversation off air.
DustyComedy.com. Do you have any shows coming up, Dusty?
Yeah, you can catch me every Friday at 11:30. Yoo-Hoo Room. It's a show I produce.
At Flappers,
Correct.
Flappers Comedy Club. You can't just say Yoo-Hoo Room and expect people to know what the fuck that is.
Good point.
If you're ever in Southern California, in Burbank, at Flappers, in the Yoo-Hoo Room at 11:30, you'll find Dusty Rhodes slinging his dick around and hopefully talking about The Dark Knight Rises.
All the time.
Tedrick, what you got coming up?
Hosting the Cafe Saturday. Mitch, where can the people find you?
Formosa Cafe Friday.
Saturday.
Saturday. Sorry. I don't know why I said Friday. Probably because of the Formosa, because it starts with an F. Formosa Cafe in West Hollywood, Saturday.
tomorrow-
If you haven't seen Teddy host a show, you are missing out on the greatest host I've ever seen.
Very kind.
Unicorn giggles.
And
Tomorrow-
I'm friends with all the hosts of Southern California, and they've all been guests on this podcast, with exception of maybe a few, because they're shitty hosts.
All right.
But
bagging
Teddy
on.
is the Teddy's on this podcast because of how phenomenal he is as a host.
Thank you.
I will
Mitch.
say
Very
that.
kind. And
Is that fair to
that's
say?
very, thank you.
Because that's you were the Teddy hosted on my DVD. If you were to go to revmitch.com, revmitch.com, REVMITCZ.com.
Are you going to be selling them at your set tomorrow?
No. But if you were to go there and buy my DVD or even download it, the person who introduces me on stage and who hosted the night of all the other comics I wanted on that set, including Teddy, and my second album that will never be released, Teddy was the host of that, and he also did the show.
Bedroom mixtape.
Did the set just before I went up. Was also Teddy. So he's phenomenal. You should see him live if you haven't. You might also want to see my live. I think that people who listen to Straight Riffin probably go, I would rather go see Teddy. I want to watch an angry man scream and yell at a crowd and see how they react. Because I already know how Mitch and the guests react. That's the place to see it. I will be tomorrow, which is pretty much the day you'll be listening to this podcast, Tuesday, November
now.
20th, in the Arena Sports Bar in Sema Valley. I'm doing a headlining show. I'm doing a 30-minute set. I have not done a show more than 10 minutes long since my birthday last year. So it's a little weird because I'm like,
Flappers.
oh shit, I should. And
at
some of the
Flappers?
people that are coming out, no, Arena Sports Bar. Oh yeah. Last year was at Flappers, the Arena Sports. So some of the people that are coming out of that show, many of the people that are coming out of the show have seen my shows over the last few months, and I'm like, well, they've all heard these jokes. I can't just mix them together and make a half hour. So now I have to add a whole bunch of new jokes on top of that, and it'll probably go terribly. And I apologize for anybody who's going to be there, but whatever. That's what comedy's all about. Dusty, thank you for finally
Thank you.
coming onto our podcast. I hope in the future you'll figure out how to keep a schedule.
I hope it was worth it.
It was. It was a good time. Did you have a good time?
I did.
All right.
This is one for the ages, and good night, bitches.
Thanks for listening to Straight Riffin. You can catch all past and future episodes of Straight Riffin on the official website riffin.net, riffin.net. Keep in mind, we do air live every Monday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's 10 p.m. to midnight for you East Coasters. You can actually watch that right on Facebook, on our fan page, facebook.com/straightriffin. Like us, Check out the Ustream page. You can even chat while we're doing the show. That's how we interact with the fans. We thank you so much for listening. Check out riffin.net. Buy my album. Buy Teddy's album. We'll catch you again next time. And rip the fuck on, bitches!